Hey, welcome to 2 Cents, everybody. This is the Dollar Views After Show. It happens every Sunday night for your Monday morning commute, cubicle, whatever it is. You can find our show at dollarviews.net, Twitter, Facebook at Dollar Views. We're all over the internet. Tune in, Stitcher, you name it, we got it. We're just going to start off here with a couple of headlines, move into VR and tech, a little bit of video game news, then do movies, and finally we'll get to TV because who cares about that anymore? I'm Brian Gillis. I'm here with Stephen Momanek. Say
Hello,
hey.
everybody.
I hope your weekend's been good. It has been amazing for DC, much to the surprise of critics, us included. Despite what everyone said, even the fans, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice has opened to a massive $420 million internationally.
Why
That's
are
the
we
fourth.
surprised? Why are we? No, I'm not surprised.
Well, it's
I'm
not that
really
I'm
not.
surprised. It's kind of impressive.
Everyone saw this coming. I don't know. I'm really numb to like record-breaking numbers now because they keep happening, like all
Every
the
year it
time
happens.
now. I
Well,
mean, yeah,
this the
yeah.
only
Star
record
Wars was the big one, yeah. And okay, this is a record for March though.
for March. It's a
Yeah.
record for Easter weekend,
hmm
which isn't that impressive.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's not like people are looking at this now and going, "Oh, Easter weekend, that's when we got to release movies." It's like, no, it
Well,
was fucking Batman
well,
versus Superman.
Furious
Whenever they
7
put
last
it
year,
out,
though.
they were gonna make money. It's just they probably had to be more selective on when they would put it out to make money. If they put it out during the summer, they might get a little more, but
It's been
this is still good.
it's been a year since Furious 7. That broke a lot of records. That
Yeah.
meant something. Quickest to a billion at the time, mind you, which got broken by Jurassic World, and then by Avengers, and then of course by Star Wars. I think
Well,
Justice League
Jurassic
will
or Avengers came out
before
before
Jurassic World.
Jurassic
Yeah.
World, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm not surprised with this. I just want to see how big the drop off is next week. So we talked about this on the show. Luckily for Warner Brothers, there isn't competition this week, unless I guess you count my Big Fat Greek Wedding too. Um, but Zootopia, Deadpool, they've been out for so long. Legion is doing so shitty that someone's not making any money off of that. So maybe next week they'll be number one as again. But I
Well,
can't
not
imagine it
maybe.
making.
It's not a maybe. They definitely will be.
I just
Probably.
can't imagine more than 100 domestic next
Yeah,
weekend.
I mean, here I am babbling again, which I hate doing that. I listen to myself doing it all the time. Um, okay, what I'm saying is like, it's funny. I don't think that, despite fan reception and critical reception, this is still something that even though families might find it a little dark, like they will at least show up. There's
It's more
still
than a little for a family.
yeah, I know. There's still like teenagers that will show up to this. I'm pretty sure it'll have momentum, and it's that event film where even if people like it or not, I still think a lot of people are going to see it. Although,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean the reception is a lot lower, even by the average
the
person. This got
regular
a
film goer.
B,
Yeah,
yeah, this got a B cinema score, which is
pretty
not bad.
low.
It's just it shows that not every person out there is having a great time with it. It's got a lower cinema score than 13 hours for God's sakes.
I love how this is like a 33 on Rotten Tomatoes, a 44 on Metacritic. Just hated. I read some really mean reviews. I mean, Steve isn't on our podcast episode. We're putting out the few dollars more in just a day. Um, I wasn't super negative. I just had problems with it, the same problems that everyone had, and I addressed them with Zane on our episode.
hmm
But DC's already kind of doing damage control. It was announced months back. Maybe it was because of this, maybe it wasn't. But at WonderCon 2 days ago, they announced at a panel that Rebirth is happening. It's like their new relaunch after the new 52. And coincidentally enough, I went to the Ritz Carlton on Friday night and I met Scott Snyder and Tom King, two guys that write Batman. Very, very cool. I also met Chris Gore in the bar that night too. So sheer happenstance, but it was a fun meet. But yeah, they're basically scrapping everything they've done with the new 52 because only Batman was really a success. A lot of things didn't work. So they're returning Detective Comics and Action Comics to the original numbering. Those are the books that Batman and Superman premiered in. And then in tandem with, Bat and Soup's own books, you're gonna be able to read new stories by those two titans of theirs every 2 weeks. And they're dropping the price too to only $3. So it's pretty big, not just for fans, but the idea here is that they're trying to make just a very accessible not just canon, but characterization for these characters in their DC extended universe. You know, it's not just the comics, it's not just the movies or the TV shows or the animated series. It's also the video games. It's everything, and they're trying to make a baseline, not just for the fans that like reading, but so anyone can jump in. And I think that the things that have happened to Man of Steel and this new Batman in Dawn of Justice, those are going to be the kind of personifications that we get on the page in the years to come. And this is starting this summer. They're having Jeff Johns, who's like their chairman for all their media stuff, is writing the story that kicks us off. So I'm very excited. I hope it's really great. And Scott Snyder, who's been writing Batman for the last 50 issues, is going to be staying on for All Star Batman, and Tom King is taking over the Batman book itself. So, you know, good luck to them. I'm sure they don't need it.
Well, for the sake of story and for building this world better, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a good thing. That's that's definitely something that they need at this point. Like, I know
Hmm.
people are hard on that for in terms of Batman versus Superman, and yeah, I'm kind of bringing it back to this, but you know, it's funny because a few things. When I was editing the review, I do kind of regret not being on there now because my fear originally was that I would be unqualified. That is why I did kind of say, hey, I got no interest, real interest in really going again, and I
Hmm.
really don't feel comfortable reviewing it if I'm not seeing the same movie that you are. But hearing everything you said, it's like, no, I could have said the same exact
Yeah,
thing, you
I
know,
saw the
aside
exact
from,
same movie.
yeah, which, so now I do kind of regret not being on there. But and then yeah, I guess you know, just but yeah, again, as far as world building, that's good. I think, you know, it was easy to anticipate that fans would be kind of hard on this. I think
Wait,
after
backtrack. It's not world, it's worlds.
Worlds,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, especially, you know, and then after experiencing Iron Man 2, I think just remembering that experience, that kind of set the bar of what to expect out of this movie. But and also, you know, all the hype was just surrounding around that fight. I mean, which is stupid, you know,
So
that
fucking
it's just a,
stupid.
well, no, it's not that the fight's bad. It's just that the concept behind it, it's just a publicity stunt, really. Like, that's all a fight between Batman versus Superman is. Like, you won't get a really good one until maybe later on down the line in Justice League, where these characters have had their
I
common grounds at this point. They know each other better, and then a battle gets a lot more
that
personal, and there's
no
more
that
dramatic potential there.
no.
That's the
That's
only
not going to be a
reason.
Justice League thing. That would be maybe like the next Superman film whenever that happens, or you know the second solo
Yeah.
Bats, or they make another Batman
My
versus
point
Superman.
is that, yeah, when you have a more personal fight in there, that will be more interesting. I mean, that fight is the least interesting in the movie. It's a publicity stunt, you know. It's something, when you have the words Batman versus Superman, it's a great tabloid, but the actual
I
result is
saw
not going to
this
be that amazing.
awesome I saw this awesome like comparison picture online. They took the still from I Am Legend from Times Square where there's the ad
Yeah.
that was, you know, kind of like prophesizing this film. And then there was an actual picture from Times Square this weekend, and side by side how close they were to framing. It was awesome.
Was it you that told
Uh
me you took forever to notice that in I Am Legend?
no, wasn't me.
Okay,
No, I
yeah.
noticed that in theaters the day I saw it that
Everyone,
Friday.
yeah, everyone
I
noticed
was
that
like,
except for like
fucking
one person. Yeah.
awesome. And now Will Smith is in the DC universe. So pretty cool.
There you go.
Um, But hey, jump into things that matter more. We usually don't get this serious on the show, but there's this huge thing, not just in terms of Hollywood, but also just the United States, big domestic thing. And yes, this is happening at the same time as Brussels. Hope everything is doing okay there. But this isn't just about endangering, you know, people, but humanity. Hollywood's cracking down on Georgia over this really controversial anti-LGBT law that allows religious officials to refuse, and I quote, to perform marriage ceremonies, perform rites, or administer sacraments if it violates their religious beliefs. On paper, that means one thing. In other words, I believe in Jesus. I believe in this. I don't believe in gay people getting married. And so Disney, Marvel, Weinstein Company, Viacom, Time Warner, NBC Universal, anyone you can name basically is levying for the governor to veto this bill, which has already gone through not just the House, but also the Senate. And they're saying that if they don't, they're going to boycott all work in the state. As most people know, or if you don't, Atlanta is a hotbed for Hollywood production, especially
Yeah.
since California taxes went really high over the last decade.
No, Marvel
So
does a lot of stuff there.
yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is shooting currently. Infinity War, both parts are planned to be there. Lots of blockbusters go to Atlanta, Georgia. and I really believe Disney would leave. It'd be really cool if, they obviously shoot in New York with Netflix. It'd be cool if, LA got money again because productions are happening again. But yeah, this is really fucked up. Like, I can't believe that this would even be a thing. It is the South, but
Yeah, I mean,
why not just try to outlaw gay marriage while you're at it?
don't get me started on how fucked up and ridiculous the world is, all in the name of religion. I mean,
Yeah,
fucking
on Easter Sunday, mind you.
Jesus, yeah, and
Fucking Jesus.
again,
We got a Passion of the Christ episode, guys. Go listen to it.
and I'm bringing up Kingdom of Heaven again. Just that David Thewlis line of just I put no stock in religion. I've seen too many, crazy people do things that are insane just in the name of something, just to push their own agendas. I'm
Uh-huh.
paraphrasing that line. That's not it word for word, but you remember the scene I'm talking about.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
that's the sentiment that comes to mind right now. But what I think the big thing here is, and this is something that you forget of how truly powerful Hollywood can be, that they are able to do this. Like,
Oh,
I
definitely.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't think I've seen them do something like so culturally important as this in a long time. Or I don't know, I can't
Hmm.
even remember one in my lifetime that was so significant, where all studios in Hollywood band together to do something.
Seriously. And like I said, it's not just studios, it's also telecom companies, TV networks, basically anyone in the entertainment game.
Hmm.
Because this is a big issue,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, we can't get gender equality yet. We're working on it. We're trying to get racial equality, hashtag Oscars go white. But we've kind of come to terms, especially with stuff like how big transgendered people are with shows like Transparent and Caitlyn Jenner over the last year, that it's basically accepted, even though people, in one-on-one situations not might not be 100% comfortable yet. But it's just like, oh, we conquered that battle, just like we conquered, equal rights for gay couples. That it's such so many steps backwards that Hollywood is just like, no, you don't. We're about to take all your money away from you if you
Yeah.
go ahead with this.
No, seriously. I mean, it's good on Hollywood. How often can you
Seriously.
say that? Normally, it's always just attached with some cynicism of, oh, this is a very big, powerful machine
Hmm.
that always does wrong. But here, it's like,
Some
no.
kind of power play
Yeah,
publicity type
here it's
thing.
like, hey, we're willing to just disband. We're willing to lose a lot of fucking money for it. So hey, good on them.
Yeah. And I mean, you just said it's usually something bad. Here's something scary. I'm sure you're familiar with the Midnight Rider story that happened over the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, where the what was it? The DP got killed.
Yeah. It was she was AC actually.
Oh,
Her name's Sarah Jones. But the director Randall Miller, he'd just been free from jail after serving 1 year. He was held accountable for the death of his AC, Sarah Jones, as I said, which resulted from a train going through their set while filming on tracks illegally after they were not able to secure permits. So his plea deal slash early release comes from the probation, where he won't be able to serve as director, first AD, or supervisor with any kind of responsibility for the safety of the crew on any film production for the whole 10 years from now. And her family was very upset about this. They thought he was going to get 2 years at the least. But their family was able to create an app called Safety for Sarah, which allows people on set who are too scared to whistleblow to do so anonymously. So good things are happening despite her death. And I still do want to see this movie. I'm
wait. So
curious what
how?
it's like.
I'm just curious. How does that work? Like,
The
just
app?
yeah, just any set in the future. If someone's on set and something goes wrong, they're able to
I think
report something, or
it's more something like this. Like you're not so sure that a grip is rigging the lights right, or maybe there's some like kind of power outage
it's just something to
where
cover
maybe
your own
you're
ass, basically.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you're on set like this and you're not sure if everything's being done the way it's supposed to. I think it has something to do more so with guerrilla shooting, the guerrilla style, not big Hollywood productions. Like this is
Yeah.
meant for indie filmmakers breaking the laws, breaking the rules.
That's a big
Like,
cautionary tale for me because I love guerrilla filmmaking.
yeah, who does? You're in Austin, Texas right now. Of course you do.
Well, no, I gotta start doing it here, but I mean, yeah, and you've seen some of my stuff. Like
A little bit, yeah.
yeah, like I've never ever
But I
shot with a
mean,
permit, so like yeah, if someone
Austin
sees
is the the home of Robert Rodriguez and Richard Linklater. You know,
Uh-huh.
Slacker and Desperado, two of
Yeah.
the biggest like, examples of guerrilla filming ever done.
I know, like, yeah, I would love to be on a set and have a ton of people around, but at the same time, I much prefer just getting down and dirty and getting things that are happening out there with no one noticing.
The One Man Film Crew. Have you read that book, by the way?
No, I need to.
You really do. I read it about
It's
a
on
year
my
ago.
private wish list, I think.
It's a great, great read. It's basically a written diary, like behind the scenes for El Mariachi. Yeah, I don't know. I said Desperado earlier. I meant El
I
Mariachi.
still need to see El
Really interesting
Mariachi though.
diary.
That's the thing. I like
Oh, please do.
and please don't make that a debt to cinema because
No, no,
at
I
least
saw
not
it
right
not
now
too long
because
ago.
I'm hoping I can see that in the theater.
I doubt it, because I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on there. Like it was shot on 16, and then
Hmm.
they blew it up to 35,
Well, yeah, of
and
course
then
they have
like
to.
he edited it with his dual flatbed VHS display, where he would like record on an empty tape because he didn't have and like digital nonlinear editing didn't exist yet, and you got to read the thing.
Dude,
Really, really
that's
great.
awesome, man. Like,
Very
I remember doing that as a kid, editing on
right.
VHS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll probably love it too. Before you, if I would just buy the DVD or Blu-ray with RU because it comes with his Bedhead short, which is what got him notoriety.
maybe
Like
after,
it,
but yeah,
lots.
I've been watching everything pretty much in theaters lately, except for Passion of the Christ and Teen Wolf. Like, I've been going out every time I see something. I like doing it that way better, actually. I mean,
Hmm.
it's been nice. I've been as far away from TV or just the streaming game, and I've kept movies in the theater. It's been nice.
Well, I know you go to the theater a lot, and it's probably because of MoviePass. Uh, they were in the news this week. Not the biggest thing, but I thought you might have good insight into it. Um, there's reports saying that it helps boost theater attendance by 111%, including 50% more attendance for midweek screenings. Also of note, pass holders spend 123% more on concessions, and this is a big thing, especially for millennials that like subscription models such as Spotify, Netflix, Gamefly, etc. For those of you out there that don't know what MoviePass is, I could explain it. I think Steve would do it better since he does pay the money. Go ahead and let him know what
All
it
right, well,
is.
it is basically just, the way that if you remember what DVDs were by the mail at Netflix, which I currently have, um, it's sort of like that where you have this app on your phone, and I think right now you can only do it through an iPhone or an Android. So if you got any other phone, then you're out of luck, unless they've changed that lately. What it is that you just pay a flat fee every month. Right now it's $45 for me. It might be based on territory, so I don't know if I change it right now if it'll be lower because the ticket prices are lower here in Austin. But basically, what the deal is that you can see any movie in theaters. The catch is you can only see 2D movies. You can only
And
see a movie once, and you
every
can only
24 hours,
and you
right?
can no. There's no more 24-hour countdown clock
Cool.
since they upped the price an extra $10 a month. So they might reintroduce that again at some point and then up the price again for all I know. But yeah, there's no countdown clock right now, but it's just one movie a day, 2D movie, and you can only see a movie once. So if you want to see a movie a second time, then you got to pay for that on your own.
That kind of sucks. It was a better deal when you could
I
do it
no,
as much as you want.
I think it was never like that where you could do it as much as you want.
I thought it was.
No, no, no. Like you can see any movie you want, you just can't see it again if you're.
No, no repeat
Yeah,
viewings.
and I think that's totally fair from a business sense. Like, if I
Hmm.
saw The Force Awakens every fucking
10
time
times,
with
yeah.
that, then yeah, like not only would they lose a lot of money, but that's kind of unfair to every other movie out there at the same time. And I think that's just partly that would just be an incentive for really bad viewing habits right there. So yeah, no, I do think that's totally fair. That's fair to theaters and that's fair to other people out there that are making movies. And
Well,
also, yes, they're as they said, yeah, that does help. They're claiming that does help concessions. I don't go to concessions at movies often, but I can
but you're
say
more
that
likely now.
no, I can, I'm as likely as I was before. Every time I go to a concession stand, I just get a cup of water. Like I don't need the popcorn. I
I
don't need
bring
to
my
spend
own
eight
water
fucking
bottle.
bucks for it. Usually, if I sneak at a candy, I go to a grocery store and just get like Junior Mints for $1.50 instead of spending $5 on them. But I will say this: since I've been here, the Alamo Draft House has gotten so much of my money on food and beer. So yeah, they are definitely profiting by me being there more often. Although I haven't been able to use my MoviePass for everything because for some of their repertory screenings, because they're based on a series that is themed, like, Near Dark, that's part of a thing called Terror Tuesday. But on the app, then it shows up like as some like Terror Tuesday Near Dark as opposed to just Near Dark, and it's blacked out so that I can't select the showtime to pay for it. So I can't necessarily do it for everything if it's a special, like, specialized thing, but like that was only a $3 ticket. And by the way, that episode is coming this Wednesday. You can hear it then. Our very first episode of that series that features a director's second appearance on the show.
This is true.
Yeah.
You can hear about that on Wednesday. Um, Moving on to something more controversial. Hulk Hogan. Are you familiar with his sex tape? You've heard of it,
I've
I'm
heard
assuming.
ramblings about it, but no.
Okay, so it was posted on Gawker like over a year ago. It's supposed to be really depressing. I didn't watch the thing myself, but he just won $115 million from Gawker in court for posting the said tape. Plus, he's also getting 25 million more in punitive damages. So 140 million for a millionaire from a sex tape. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. Erin Andrews, who was also the subject in a hotel peephole video several years back, was just awarded 55 million in damages. And so THR has this really great write-up on what this means for journalism in the 21st century and the First Amendment and the freedom of speech. And they make connections to everyone reporting on the Sony hack. Like, was Sony allowed to get money, like damages? Like, it totally fucked up their calendar. Look, they had to reboot Spider-Man. They had to give the rights over to Marvel, basically. Plus, whoever else knows whatever. Like, how many people got fired and let go and rearranged the interview. Lots of bad stuff happened there. Like, what's this mean? Like, imagine, someone makes like a vine of you eating shit, and they make a lot of money because of publicity and ads and in the news or whatever. Doesn't that mean the subject deserves something too? Like, what's this mean going forward for the future of internet celebrity?
I don't ask me, man. I mean,
Well, it's more
main
rhetorical than anything, but
it
yeah.
is definitely, yeah. I mean, and that is a fair point. But I mean, a main thing that I am getting out of this, like when I hear this story, is that this is a celebrity who is already famous, who's probably already got a decent amount of money, that's just stumbled upon a way to make a shitload
Oh
of more
yeah,
money.
brother, he's got money.
Yeah. So, and I don't know, with lawsuits, it seems like that stuff gets more attention, and I don't know. This is I'm probably gonna say something that will just make me sound like an idiot speculating on this shit because it's not a fully formed point that I'm trying to make. But yeah, no, you do have a fair point.
It's weird. Like
As with anything in the future, it's like,
yeah,
what does it mean?
it's not even just that. It's. I want to keep track of this story. I'm not gonna, sweat over it. I'm not losing sleep over what Hulk Hogan gets or doesn't get. But this almost made the show last week. It could have. I'm happy I held out because, he got $25 million more. But the Gawker's trying to go to appeal courts and fix it. They're doing this in Florida, so who knows how things are handled there. Um, but it's just really interesting. Like, in this day and age when
Hmm.
so many people wish they were famous by, exposing their bodies or doing whatever they can to be in the limelight. What happens when you're already in the limelight and these things come to, the public image, and then they make even more money anyway?
Yeah, no, I mean, it is kind of like that thing. We brought up guerrilla filmmaking too, and it's like when
Yeah.
people find you filming, like, and they call you out on it, you got to stop and run as far away as you can from them at that point.
It's like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. They made porn tapes and they became famous.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess they got money from the DVD sales. And these two, Erin Andrews and Hulk Hogan, didn't get any money, so they're suing to get it back. Like, they can claim it was for, maybe Erin Andrews is different because she was a sideline reporter. She's been on Dancing with the Stars. It was totally something that she didn't know was happening.
Yeah.
Like, it was a peephole. It's kind of like that scene in Garden State. Whereas with Hulk
Oh
Hogan,
yeah,
like,
yeah, God, that
you know,
weird,
who,
that weird
who here
scene.
just saw some titties?
It's a funny moment, but what the hell does that have to do with everything?
No, that's what it was.
Just
Like,
that
that's what.
whole that whole section of
Oh,
it. Yeah.
well, it was a reason for Zach Braff to get Method Man in his movie, and it's just a
Yeah.
cool scene to see Zach Braff, Method Man, and Natalie Portman together watching porno films from a hotel peep room. Like
Yeah, no, for
that's a
sure.
cool piece of movie making.
I do want to see that movie again right now, but yeah, no, I don't know. It feels like because I'm at that age, it feels like there's more meaning there for me, but it also I don't know. It's like a combination of it being very pretentious, but also very relatable.
It's really fun because the cast, like almost every single person in that movie now has gone on to do something. Like the biggest example being what's his name, Parsons from Big Bang Theory. Like the first time you saw that, you're like, "Who's this guy? He's kind of funny." And now it's like, well, everyone in the world knows who the
Damn
fuck
right.
he is. Really weird. Last headline we got here. I think it's coolest thing I read all week, especially because of the big announcement I'm going to have at the end of it. Um, in North Carolina, the police pulled over this guy, James Mayer, over while he was taking his daughter to school this week, and they let him know that there was a warrant out for his arrest. It was just like he got pulled over because he had like a broken tail light or something. But yeah, the officer let him know that the warrant was for his arrest because he owed dues since 2002 on a VHS copy of Freddy Got Fingered. Two things here. One, how is it that that rental company is still in business,
No, it probably went to a credit agency
even still?
or collection
And
agency. Sorry.
if someone had a copy of Freddy Got Fingered still, do you really think that they're the one to arrest? Like that can't be the most sought after film. It's going to be now because it's going to be our next step to cinema. But
What?
yep. But
Ah, God damn you, sir.
I read this thing. It was amazing. The only thing better than the story itself was that Tom Green somehow, who not only was the writer, director, and star of that film, I think he produced the thing too. But he came to the man's rescue and he paid the $200 bail or whatever
Oh,
it was in North Carolina. Like I read the statement that this guy did afterwards. He's like, I couldn't believe that they wasted like 10 hours on me, taking me to court, putting me in handcuffs, putting me in the jail cell, all that. Like he was like flabbergasted that the taxpayers' money was going to that when it was only $200.
all right.
Like, it was
All
ridiculous.
right, here's what's happening right now. First, two things. One, I'm on NetflixDVDs.com, and Freddy Got Fingered is going to the top of the queue, so there's
Fuck
that.
yeah.
Um, okay, so that's done.
You
Fuck
don't
it.
love this
It
movie.
says short wait, so that might be a problem. That might, and if that doesn't go through, then I'll have to fucking go to the actual video store, which
You know what
fucking
it is?
sucks.
Everyone else heard the story and they realized they had to see it.
Probably. And yeah, yeah. Second, okay, fuck you. This is you getting back for Star Wars, isn't it?
No, this movie is good.
Oh,
I
is
enjoy
it?
it. I
Is
saw
it?
it in theaters. I think
Everyone,
it was the
you're the
first
first
film I
person to
movie
say it.
hopped for. I
This,
snuck into this motherfucker.
wow.
I
Okay.
had to see it. We bought a Pokemon 2000 movie ticket, me and my brother, and they didn't want us to get in. So like this group of black girls at the AMC Pine Avenue, which doesn't even exist anymore, got us like they snuck us in with them. It was awesome. I've probably seen the movie like 5 times.
Maybe when you're a kid, yeah, I can see it, especially when fucking Pokemon 2000 isn't like in theater. You were what, 10 at the time? 9 or 10?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah. Okay, but I've heard nothing but like, or I've not heard
Did you
why.
ever watch the Tom Green show?
No, I have not heard why, but I've heard
Fuck.
nothing but Freddy Got Fingered is fucking horrible and you should avoid it. Like right now, the rating that they're predicting for me on Netflix is 2.5.
Well, there's only 5 stars possible on Netflix, so that seems fair.
Yeah,
That's
they
halfway.
know my rating scale at this point because I
I,
use
I
it. So
I think you would give it 2 or 2.5. Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
I
Hey,
think you're gonna.
I do enjoy even bad movies. Even if they're bad, I still like watching them.
It's a fun,
It's
trashy piece of cinema.
Yep. All
It's
right.
it's like it's like a step below Kingpin, but it's in the same kind of vein.
Hopefully
Don't take
it's.
it so.
Uh,
Don't take it seriously. Just get drunk and have
I'm
a good
not
time.
I'm not expecting it to be better than Kingpin, but because I mean, at least Kingpin offered surprises. You know what? Don't tell me anything. I will give it a fair shot.
Thank God.
And goddamn you,
But
sir.
yeah, peace be to James Mayer. You are my hero.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean,
You made Freddy Got Fingered make the headlines on my show.
if you want, while we're at it, I can tell you exactly what the title is going to be after Freddy Got Fingered because I decided on this a couple days ago, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you surprise me? Surprise our listeners.
You want
What
to
is
hear it
it?
right now?
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock's 1948 film Rope.
I've seen it. That's a good pick.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of tie-ins, mainly the concept of a long tape, which is related to either, there's
Hardcore
yeah,
Henry.
Hardcore Henry. There's also Too Late, and then we can go farther back and mention Birdman. There's a
Or
bunch.
go a less further back can say Victoria, which is on Netflix
That
streaming,
too,
which
yeah.
everyone should see. It's on my best of the year list. It
Which
is
that
amazing.
was almost my pick, but I wanted to go as far back to the earliest example of the concept of a long take.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
not
a
the earliest
Hitchcock.
example.
It's the earliest one that I could find that I could think
Yeah.
of that I had any interest in. And yeah, I just it's Jimmy Stewart in a Hitchcock film. I just want to see it.
Uh, Much better than The Man Who Knew Too Much remake, for sure.
Yeah. Also, what's funny enough is that was the original is at the top of my queue right now, and that's taking forever to come in. But now it's second, so I'm gonna have to wait even longer on that. Because
You don't
I
need to.
do like the remake, but I want to see the original.
I don't like the remake. I just don't like that movie for some reason. It's like one of my least favorite Hitchcock
And
movies.
I really like the payoff for that movie, or the climax
Like
rather.
the
Yeah,
final 20
yeah,
minutes or what.
so good.
Well, you had to wait like an hour and a half to get there though.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, it's
It's
funny
just
how
like
Eagle
Batman
Eye
versus
ripped it
Superman.
off. Yeah,
Just like Batman versus Superman. You got to wait so long for that payoff. Moving on to VR, big thing on the show. And also, we cover tech in this section here. First one, huge. Pornhub has teamed with Badoink to host free VR content on their website. They are now the second big one. This week, the only one that did it was Kink VR by kink.com. And there's several pay models like Naughty America, but this is proof that VR is going to be a big thing. It was the deciding factor for at home viewing on like home network stuff. What won versus VHS and beta? VHS, because that's the way porn went. DVD Laserdisc, same thing. Blu-ray HD DVD, once again. And so this is proof because Kink VR, it allows Oculus, Gear VR, and Google Cardboard. Hopefully, PlayStation View, or not View, but PlayStation VR, everyone will be able to get in on it or get off on it. Um, but I think this is great. It just shows that, or not just shows, but it's going to drive more consumers to try it out. And we've talked about VR porn on the show. It's not the best example of why the medium or experience is great, but it is a good starting point. And I love that one of the biggest websites on the planet is embracing it. And you
I
can embrace it too, Steve.
well, I don't think I will because of porn. But yeah, I'm still I'm slowly paying more and more attention. You and I talked about VR a little bit off the show just before recording, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm still sort of holding out. I'm pretty sure I'll get a Google Cardboard or just one of those like $50 headsets that look way more comfortable when I get a new
No,
phone.
no, no, no. You can get a Google Cardboard on Amazon for like $10 shipped with Prime.
Yeah, but then do you have like something to strap it around your head, or do you just hold
You
it
can
up to your
make
head
one
with your
yourself.
hand? Yeah,
I just hold it up.
I'm pretty sure like is it comfortable at all?
Well, I
Like
mean,
the actual
it.
the ones that are like $50, they just seem more comfortable and
I mean,
like
you wear glasses, so I can't, really compare our experiences.
hmm
But the fact that you need a hand to interact with the experience anyway, it's like, well, why wouldn't I just hold it? Like the head strap only makes sense to me if you're watching long form media, like a movie or something. But in the
which
few
is what I would
times,
probably use it for.
yeah. But in
Like,
the
I would
times
use
that
that
I've done
cinema
that,
app for sure.
in the couple times that I've done that, I've just laid down anyway and let it rest on my face naturally with gravity. So the strap would just be weird. But then again, I pre-ordered. I guess not. Then again, I pre-ordered my PlayStation Virtual Reality this Tuesday.
It's
So
funny
I've
though.
already put my money down.
Sorry, I just had a thought. Like, have you watched Gravity in 3D? Like, just laying
I
on your
did.
bed, yeah, the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then I
No,
don't know,
no.
just get like high or something, or just take like really deep breaths and just lay down, feel like you're floating while watching that. I imagine that would be crazy.
I didn't do that. It was like the day that I got the cardboard. Tried out a couple of movies, and I think I watched like I watched the first opening shot of Gravity, and it was really cool to watch it in the virtual like simulated movie theater 3D thing because I had yet to have seen Gravity in 3D. So it was a cool experience. But then again, I've already seen the movie, so I wasn't that hooked. But when I watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, whenever I do, I'm gonna watch it for the first time in 3D that way.
Nice.
Um, so
Just be
it,
aware that that's kind of an old-fashioned 3D. That's a bit more
yeah,
of an eye strain
yeah,
on you if you got problems with
original
that.
3D. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like
The,
I've shown that Blu-ray when I had it before I sold that Universal Monster set. Or no, I
mm.
didn't sell it. I gave
You
it away
gave it
as a
away, yeah.
gift. Yeah.
Shadow Blake.
But I did.
I said shout out to Blake.
Yep. Yeah, he's happy with it. And he's got a 3D TV now too. Actually, he was the one that I showed it to, like just sampling a bunch of 3D stuff. And yeah, like the opening definitely there was a strain on his eyes for some of the tracking shots. So it's like, yeah, that's one of the ones where I can see it hurting some people's eyes. Where for me, it's like it didn't damage it, but there are shots where I'm just kind of like, whoa, that's not good.
What do you expect when you're trying out new technology on film, you
Yeah.
know?
No, but I mean, it does look gorgeous. The underwater sequences definitely.
Well, I'll find out in the coming months. We'll see.
Yay.
Last week in the VR section, I was talking about something called, believe it was big screen VR, and it was like uh, a virtual full Windows desktop environment in a virtual reality headset, so you don't have to take the thing off, change around with the settings, put it back on. Well, looks like they might not be a success, and the reason is that Steam, aka the Valve, the people behind HTC Vive, other than the hardware side, they've introduced something called Steam VR, and it has they've added full desktop support in their app. So there might not be a reason for outside sources, but it is cool that you can do this now.
Hmm.
Because Oculus Rift is actually, by the time you listen to this, thousands of people around the world will already have their headset. The CEO creator Palmer Luckey, he went to Alaska himself to deliver the first one to someone in the north. Um, so the future's now, and people could listen to this in a native environment with their VR headset. I doubt it, but it's possible. I get my hopes up.
If you are the very first person doing this, then give us a shout out so we can
Yeah,
feel special.
yeah. Um, last
Two
piece of VR.
cents on dollar reviews. Great VR content, you guys.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Last VR news we got this week. Hulu, who they announced months and months ago that they were going to get into the game. Netflix announced it too. They've actualized that announcement. They introduced a VR app for Samsung's Gear VR this week that's free for all users. You don't have to be a Plus subscriber. There's over 30 360-degree videos currently, plus access to Hulu's library in a virtual living room. So this is, I think all of the streaming video on demand people are going to be doing this. HBO, Netflix, as I said, who knows who else? There's probably going to be new people that get into the game, like maybe Jaunt VR will create their own subscription model. But the virtual living room is a thing. It is going to be big. I can't wait to see what kind of experiences they create through this. And, if you have Samsung's Gear VR, definitely go download this app. I wish it was available on cardboard. I'm sure it will be in the not too distant future.
God. Yeah. Once again, just waiting to
Flabbergasted.
get a phone, man, so I can start doing this.
Yeah, with your shitty iPhone. By
I
the
wonder
way,
if I'm gonna be like, because that is my worry. And I tried another Best Buy. I couldn't sample anything. I can't find it.
just wait, just wait. I mean, Oculus is going to be on store shelves this upcoming month. Like April is the month to go back to the Best Buy. I know I will be. But talking about your shitty iPhone, I don't know if you saw this week. But Apple, they had their In the Loop press conference, their event. They announced two new items: the iPhone SE, which stands for Special Edition, I believe. It's the 6S specs, an updated 5S body, and then the other thing they showed off was a 9.7-inch iPad Pro. So these two devices are things that they had just made bigger in the not too distant past, and now they're making them smaller again.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It's
So if you do enjoy having a smaller footprint for your phone and you still want the top of the line specs, it is the way to go. I think
Believe it or
it
not,
might
it's
appeal
not
to you.
it's not stupid. I mean, that is like weirdly enough, that is both something that people were impressed by with the new iPad. Like, because I know
Uh-huh.
my grandfather did upgrade his, and he got a new one, and
That
he
thing is
was
fucking huge.
yeah, he was impressed by the big screen, while simultaneously my grandma was like, why does it need to get bigger? And it's the same thing with phones. It's like, oh man, it's cool that they're bigger and they can still fit. Yet there's still the flip side of that, of people complaining, like, why are they fucking making them so bigger to the point where I can't fit them where
Well,
I
I
need them to
mean,
be? So yeah, they're
for media consumption,
yeah.
for working, like the new iPad, the 13-inch one, it definitely is a laptop replacement. Like if you buy that keyboard, if you buy the Apple stylus, or I mean the pencil, whatever,
Yeah.
it is a replacement. Like my phone, I have a 6-inch Sony phone. If I'm watching YouTube on this thing, it's not that bad of a viewing experience. It's like from the distance I am from my TV or my laptop, the screen's about the same size from the distance I hold it from my face. But yeah, the flip side is if you have small hands or you are a smaller person, it doesn't make sense to have a bigger device. And Sony has done this too, like the 5Z or the Z5 rather. They have a compact version. It's kind of like Apple's specs. It's the same phone, same internals, smaller model. And so I think that this will be coming back. The smaller, and bigger isn't necessarily better.
No, but I mean, like as far as sizes, it's like now it's whatever you're accustomed to, whatever you're comfortable with, and it makes sense to cater to both, even though the difference in screen size is so marginal when you get down to it. It's not like dramatic, but what it can't cost them that much to really just change the size of it, and it's not like it affects factory production or anything, right? So
I think it would, because I mean,
not
before this,
dramatically in a point, not in a way where for a company that's that profitable, it would
yeah,
make
when
it
you
be a
have that
big
much
risk.
money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And it's going to sell out on day
I
one
mean
because it is a new Apple product.
it's
That's
the
what happens.
equivalent of making the choice between whether you want a black iPad or a white one or a black or white cell
I
phone.
think it's
It's
more the difference between going to the theater and wanting the small or the medium popcorn.
yeah, well, I don't know, maybe I
It's
don't.
like just the cardboard
I
costs
guess
money.
so. Yeah, it's like, do you want to upgrade to a bigger screen
It's
for just
only
a
a
hundred
dollar
dollars
more.
more?
Last week we were talking about Redbox. Now they might go out of business, or not go out, but necessarily, but their parent company might sell them off. Well, there's something that was announced this week. Maybe that's not true. Um, it looks like they're attempting to get into the streaming model again. And if this sounds familiar, it's because they had a failed joint venture with Netflix, or not Netflix, with Verizon in 2013 called Redbox Instant. I used it once or twice, not very good. The difference here, though, is that this isn't going to be a subscription model like Netflix. This is going to be a la carte viewing, like iTunes, Google Play, and Fandango Now, aka MGO Movies, as it was currently known. This could work. I think the idea here is you're on your app or you're on your computer and you're looking for a movie and at what kiosk it is, and you're like, oh, it's 6 miles away. Oh, but wait, I can download it right now and watch it on my computer. It makes sense. Um, I, I'm not sure if it's the greatest thing, but it
It's
is
better
sound
than
business.
what they have, yeah. Like I
Yeah,
do remember signing up for the free trial for the Redbox streaming thing.
so bad.
I scrolled through the catalog and then I canceled it right away
Yeah.
before I even got charged. I was like, yeah, no, none of this is worth it. And the selection is so low, it's just not worth it whatsoever. You couldn't attach it to any device, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he was on my PS3. I think it was on the Xbox 360, but like that was it. Like it was like on the iPad, but it wasn't widespread. It was a very small thing, and it was like I think it was like you already had a Redbox, base model, but then you had to pay a certain fee on top of that. But
hmm
it's not like you got free DVDs like Netflix. Like it was real disconnect between what their consumers wanted and what they offered. But this might work, like having a one-time $3 fee to watch a digital rental without having you to drive there and then drive back the next day. It's like you're saving gas. The
I
only
don't know.
downside here is that what if you don't have good enough internet? What if you don't know how to use the internet?
That's the thing I like about Redbox is that, you know what, there's like within a 1 mile radius, there are three close to me right now, walking
Uh,
distance. So for
well,
me,
you
that's
are,
that's not a problem. But then again, I am much more patient
yeah.
than most people that are looking for the immediacy of having things right in front of them. Like I still enjoy the walkover, and I feel like I earn entertainment once I get it in my hands.
Then again, you are in the center of a urban metropolitan area.
I'm right by a
You know,
school, so yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah,
for me, I am in a large city. My closest Red Box is like a mile away. Like
yeah, no, exactly.
I
They're
could walk there, but it would be a substantial walk. It's definitely a drive, and I think it's a drive for most people in Southern
No, well, I
California.
mean, even for me, like I lived in a suburban neighborhood. The closest Red Box was literally like a half-hour walk away, and
Yeah,
that's if I walk. And it's I could ride my bike instead. It wasn't bad for me.
but just
I don't
there.
know. I find like I guess it depends. Like yeah, if you want your content instantly, because that's something I am getting less and less, and that's it's a whole other topic. I guess I'm more patient than most people are, but whatever.
I don't think it's necessarily just patience. It's just okay.
But yeah,
This
no, okay,
year,
yeah, I'm not knocking this. Like, it totally makes sense, and that
no,
is a good plan for them to stay alive for sure.
th this year for the first time ever, streaming music revenue has surpassed physical.
Yeah,
So, and we've said things like this before. We were talking about how well MoviePass is working in theaters and the how much that increases movie going and like it's something that comes up a lot, digital blah blah and the death of physical media and where it's going. I have a feeling that the only thing that's physical anymore is how you interact with the media you're viewing. It's going to be the remote or the controller or the VR headset. It's not going to be a disc because anyone that's moved before knows how much of a fucking hassle it is to take all your movies or all your books and put them into boxes and you're like, wow, these are really heavy when you got a lot of them.
Yeah.
It anchors you somewhere.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is something that's funny. It's like it is nice to have physical possessions though at the same time. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, like, and that is a big thing for me though. Is like I have last year I sold so many DVDs and Blu-rays just because like I looked at them and I realized like, okay, yeah, this looks nice on the shelf, but you know what, like I've only kept the movies that really I have some sort of personal connection with, just with the art in general, and that has content on the disc itself that I want to own. But I mean, yeah, and as far as you bring it up, yeah, the music streaming surpassing sales, like I'm surprised that this has not been reported also for movies, because I'm pretty sure that more content is streamed on Netflix than it is like ever watched through physical media. Like, or has
Probably.
this not been reported already in the past few
I
years?
mean,
Yeah.
they like I said, in episodes past, I think we've said something similar along the lines for yeah, either TV or movie watching at home.
Like most
But home
Netflix
in
customers, like I want to say like 80% of them, maybe 90, watch it on a daily basis.
probably well, maybe not
They
90,
scroll
but
through it at least on a
yeah,
daily
a lot
basis
of
mainly. Probably
most.
1 or 2 days like off, yeah, a month. But
If you pay the money, you definitely use like I don't even pay for Netflix. I'm on the friend account, but I use it like on average once a week.
hmm
I might not watch something, but yeah, I'll look at the instant queue. I'll look at the new things. I'll add things to my list. But then again, we're not the average viewer. We do the podcast, so we take up our time in other ways. But yeah, if I wasn't doing this right now, I'd probably be playing a video game or watching Netflix or something along those lines. And Vizio knows this, and that's why they're pushing how people make TVs. Um, we talked about this rumor, I think it was 2 episodes back, that they might be getting rid of the smart TV model. And it's totally true. They announced their new line. It looks awesome. So now it's just Google Cast only. It's Chromecast technology baked into the TV.
hmm
So there are no apps. You don't have to download Netflix or Hulu or anything. It doesn't matter if it's not already on there. It starts with the P series. This line begins at $999 for a 500 or not 500, a 50-inch 4K Dolby Vision HDR model, and it comes with a 6-inch tablet, which has its own wireless dock, and you also get a basic IR mode. So you get a pretty good package here. Like this 6-inch, it's basically a phone. Okay, it's an iPad, it's an iPod Touch,
hmm
and that's how you control everything. You download the apps there through the Android market. I mean Google Play Store. So you want Netflix? Cast it to your TV. You want to look at your photos? Same deal. Like it doesn't matter. Facebook, whatever. As long as it has support for Google Cast and Chromecast, it's gonna work fluidly. And this is it makes sense to me. I think it's gonna make sense to a lot more people because something like an Apple TV. Why would you want another box? Like you don't. The reason you have an Apple TV is because you don't have cable or satellite. Well, why would you not want it all streamlined? Why would you want to move more things? Why would you want more cables that you have problems setting up? So I
That's the
really think
entire point of technology, is to make things more smaller, more compact, and yeah,
exactly.
make it more user friendly. I mean, it's God, we are, like it's funny because I watched Minority Report like earlier this year, where they take one screen from a small iPad-sized monitor.
Throw it to the big
Yeah,
screen.
exactly. Like fuck, we're getting there. Like
We are there.
like
We've been there
closer
for
and
a
closer. I
while.
mean, no, but it's literally going to be like, and this is when things get closer to holograms, where hey, we'll have a screen, and then we could just like toss it up in the air. It blows. A fucking Iron Man did that, you know?
Talking about holograms, did you ever meet Tristan Savage? I think that's what his name is on Facebook. Kate
Mm,
went to Long Beach State with us
no,
same year.
I don't think so.
No, oh, I ran into him at the Ritz this weekend too, and we caught it for just a second. My drunk friends wanted to hang out with me still, but he said he's working a hologram, so I'll drop him a line. Maybe we can get on the show. He can tell us what kind of tech he's playing with.
Oh
But it
fuck
sounded
yeah.
really cool. Yeah. But outside of just the Minority Report thing, the fact that for $1,000 you can get a 50-inch 4K Dolby Vision display, that just impresses me, just for that price point. And then yeah, you throw in the 6-inch tablets you get, and with the Google Cast functionality, like if this thing had 3D support, I'd be in. And for more money, you can get bigger displays with more features and things. But Vizio, like they've gone from being the bargain bin product that you only get at Costco to really trying to push boundaries and make strides in what TVs can do at certain price points. Like you can get, I believe, for $500, you can get like a 40-inch 4K display from them that came out a year ago. Um, but it's not just TVs that they're doing. They just introduced new wireless speakers that they have, kind of like Sonos. They're going to be using the same technology, just Google casting everything. So this might make Google more ubiquitous, make it more of a challenger to Apple in the home, and then also just in terms of just being consumer friendly. Like, people like talking about the future and technology being scary. I think it's a time to be happy
There's a
about
dark
having things so
side and a
simple.
bright side. I mean, like, as far as the stuff that we get to play with, yes, there is ways
Yeah.
that's going to be cool. The dark side is that because it's going to be connected through the internet, and like the whole Big Brother is watching. There's a dark side to everything. But the fact that we're getting new toys and we can use them for so many awesome things, like. Yeah, that's cool. Just you're probably gonna have to find some more security to make sure that you can play with those toys safely.
I
But
think
that's a whole different issue.
the real problem most people have with digital ownership is that how do you own something digitally? But when cloud kind of drowned those kind of woes, made it easier pill to swallow.
Well, sort of.
But
I mean, I do think part of me is like always gonna be attached to physical media. Like I do think I'm gonna look at the DVDs and Blu-rays and like I still have VHS tapes, that I've popped in from time to time and like there are charms to that format that are nostalgia based. And I think, for someone like
well,
me though, I think I'll probably hold on to that as like the equivalent of a vinyl collection, and that's mainly just because of the time that I grew up in and the time that I was born in. I will probably be one of those old farts that holds on to that stuff strictly for nostalgia. But yeah, like I can totally see the future being less like that. I will be a product of my time in that way, I'm sure.
I mean, once they figure out how to do special features on digital formats, I'm probably just gonna go that way
They
for
they
buying
already
things in the
can.
future.
Like
Well, I
what
mean,
I would
but like,
love is like
well,
what I would love is when they make it easier for you to just transfer all your digital stuff instead of doing like a disc to digital thing like Voodoo where you just scan your disc and then you can watch it through that. Like if you can open up your own account through some format and take the digital files and throw them in that space, that way you can access it the way that it was. You get those special DVD menus like
uh,
along with that, like in those special features. Like if there is some sort of software
like
or
an
just app like that,
emulation
yeah,
of the disc.
yeah, that you can make it cloud based, or you can keep the physical data like close to you in storage, like just and it preserves everything that was on that data disk, and it's just somewhere else, like
Hmm.
that. I mean, because that's the thing that I wish I could do. Like for instance, I have the best example for me is I have the Criterion DVD for Armageddon. And even though it's not perfect, like yeah, I would like to have that old ancient non-anamorphic transfer preserved, just because like yeah, okay, it may not be the best resolution, but it's totally watchable, and there is some sort of nostalgia goggles there for like seeing the charms of how even when the format was not perfect, I could watch it that way. Also, I like the menu on there, as old fashioned as it is on that. Like, I would love to have some sort of platform where that could be preserved, that I could access that. And I mean, because there is history to that too. Like that is worth preserving, I think, just as much
Yeah.
as any other film or piece of music or art is out there that's preserving a media format. That I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Like in my teenage years, like preteen even, like I learned so much from movies by just watching the behind the scenes features and listening to the director's commentary and watching as much as I want. Like it got to a point where I couldn't buy a bare bones DVD. I refused. And like when you buy something on iTunes, that's what you get. Like they do have, like you said, like yeah, there are some special features. Like you can get like a picture in picture mode or a pop-up video type thing, but it's not the same. So
Fucking
they
main
really have
menus
to.
and all that would be so much cooler in VR.
So
Like,
cool.
yeah, no, I mean, like some of the first DVDs I ever got were the James Bond DVDs. Like, and I have all of them up to Quantum of Solace until I moved to Blu-ray for Skyfall. But yeah, then I mean, just yeah, they got some of the best menus ever. Like that you don't see that much anymore. Like on Blu-rays, it's just like a still from the background, and then you just scroll through. Like menus were so much more imaginative back then. Like DVD packaging too. But I mean,
Do you
like
remember the New Line Infinifilm series?
I remember the logo.
Super cool. Like they had so many features on those discs. Like it was their own in-house branding to make it like, oh, Rush Hour 3 is gonna be the shit because it's on Infinifilm.
Austin
Like
Powers Gold member. Fuck yeah.
exactly, yeah. Like you were just sold by the way it looked, like that blue trim around the package.
Hell yeah.
But enough of that. Let's go finish
No,
up
but I
this
mean, you get
stuff
what I
so we
mean.
can
Like,
get into
it'd be
movies.
cool if we can get some sort of way where we can
Yes.
preserve all that stuff for ourselves. Like, I would love it if, and yes, here's something that's crazy. I would love it if I could, because I can watch VHSs through an HDMI cable. I would love it if I could plug that into something and just preserve The Lion King on VHS, because that's the only way I will watch that movie, is in that format with all the trailers attached. That's where I sound like some crazy hipster right now, but
You
yeah,
are, yes.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, that would be
You're
the only way I would
100%
do it. Yeah.
Adam Driver's character in
I know
that
it's
Noah
it's
Baumbach
like
movie.
that's the only way I can see that movie. It's just I even own the Blu-ray for that, and it's like no, it looks too slick for me. I prefer the color on that tape, and it just
I like
sounds
the
way
shitty,
way
gritty,
better.
broken version
No,
because
it
I've
actually
wound
it
it so many
legitimately
times.
looks great. Like for VHS tapes, all the old Disney stuff, like for some
Yeah, too
reason,
bad when
hand
you're
drawn
done.
animation looks better on VHS than actual live action.
Yeah, too bad though when you're done you have to rewind the thing.
I'm patient, you know. Jeez, like that's I don't know, it's part of the charm.
What if you
The
have to
sound of
get
the
up?
tape tracking is like it's nice
Yeah,
and comforting,
what
just
if
like
you
a
have to
projector
get up
whirring in
and
the
go
background.
to the bathroom? You're not scared of it being put on pause for so long that you mess up the tape?
I just hit the stop button actually.
That's smart too.
Yeah, I've pause. I mean, I grew up in like the first time like first VHS or VCR that I had, there was no remote for it, so I had to physically like get up and hit the stop button. No, I
I
mean,
think it
yeah,
was the
yeah,
same for me.
yeah.
Well, let's finish up the VR tech news and then we'll move on to movies. That's
Preserving
kind of
old
why
media with new media. That's all I'm saying is that's what makes new media awesome. Instead of having to ditch all the old stuff, you get to have it keep up with it in some way. That'd be cool.
we'll talk about new media. Google might be trying to capitalize on the success of Twitter's Periscope. They're making an app that's being called YouTube Connect, or at least that's what the rumor mill is saying. Totally makes sense. They already have YouTube Gaming, YouTube itself. So just exemplifying, Google, not necessarily just through the Vizio stuff that we are talking about a minute ago, if you stayed with us through that cool VHS conversation we had. But to really like live stories on Snapchat is a big thing. There's a great feature on Variety currently about it. Like, is that the future of media? Is that how you tell stories for millennials? That it is a temporary thing that you're invested in for a couple of minutes and it's over. And that's how live streaming is, not just through Twitch or YouTube, but Periscope too. So I think that this is something that Google could be announcing at their I/O conference. Also, hopefully, some VR dedicated stuff. The last thing in tech, though, Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's going to feature
That's
voice
in
work
tech.
from. Yeah, this is tech. What's a video game?
Okay.
Video game tech. Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's going to be featuring the cast and fill in some. It's going to be featuring the cast of the latest film, and it's also going to fill in some of the blanks from the film, such as how C-3PO got his red arm and things of that nature. It's coming out later this year. The games are really really fun. I like was playing Lego Batman 2 just last night. Um, Great for the kids.
No,
It's a whole nother way to live through a
I
movie.
like Lego Star Wars, but part of what's fun with that is that there is no dialogue. They just do gestures and
Well,
stuff. But like, yeah, I mean, so
that's because at the time they
I
didn't
know
have
that
the tech
I
behind
know
it.
they've changed it, but it was just funnier
Uh-huh.
that way. Like that's part of what was so cool about it.
It was just different. Like Lego Batman 2 actually was the first one to have voice cast, and ever since then they've done
Oh
it.
my
Like
god,
Lego Jurassic
I
World.
just realized that Lego Star Wars is over 10 years old. That's really Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, no. I
yeah,
bought the
like
game
2003,
summer.
2004.
Yeah, summer 2006 was when I bought the first one. I
That was
think.
like
Yeah,
a
or no, and
Oh,
then the
you were
second
late
one.
then. That was a complete saga.
Yeah, no, no, or no. For the first three, that was in 2006. That's when I got it because I got one of the PS2 greatest hits editions for that.
Yeah,
And
that's what
then
I'm saying.
Lego
That
Star
wasn't
Wars
when it
2, I
came
think,
out.
came out like September of that year.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
greatest hits means it had, well, at that
it
time, I
was
think
worth like
the
20 bucks. So yeah,
was like 100,000
I had
domestic.
to buy stuff on allowance money and be smart about how I spent it. So most of my PS2 games, I had to wait for them to drop to be like 20 bucks.
Well, since you brought up video games, moving to movies, Variety
You
posted this
brought up in
article.
the video games. That was the
Well, you stayed with them, okay?
yeah.
Uh, Variety posted this article speculating that Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell are prime films that for candidates to have sequels. I read this thing, I was like, yeah, no shit, Assassin's Creed's getting a sequel. Uh, I totally didn't know that Ubisoft was making an adaptation to their Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell series. And then I read about the thing. It's going to be directed by Doug Liman and it's starring Tom Hardy. How did I know about this? How did we not talk about this on the
Yeah,
show?
I was hoping you were going to say Tom Cruise also. Like that would be another collaboration there, which would be cool.
That would be pretty cool. I
Yeah,
mean, they are doing Lunar Park or Luna Park. I
but I mean,
mean,
also, are you going to watch Macbeth out of curiosity?
probably
Because I know
not.
that that's on Amazon. Yeah,
I've like never watched any of those Shakespeare modern interpretation things.
I
Um,
wouldn't recommend necessarily watching the entire thing, but if you want to probably get a good idea of his action chops for Assassin's Creed within the first 15 minutes, you might get a sense of what the battle sequences are going to be like, at least.
well, I doubt it. I mean, that's not what Assassin's Creed. Have you played Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
game
yeah, yeah.
before?
No, no, no. I've played I've played about 2 hours of it. I think I started, and then
Okay.
I just
I
left it
don't.
alone.
Well, I don't know what route they're going. We'll find out in the coming months when they put a trailer out. I'm guessing it'll be attached to Warcraft
But yes,
or
there will
maybe
be action in
Ratchet and
there. I
Clank.
mean,
Yeah, of course there's gonna be
yeah.
action. I think it's gonna be a lot of stealth type of stuff though. Because that's kind of the nature of the. I mean, there's lots of different missions in those games. But yeah, I
No,
was
but
like, wow,
you can get
there's a
probably
lot of
an
video game
idea,
movies
even
coming
if
out.
it's not like a big battle. You can get some sort of idea in there,
Hmm,
at least for the sense of a period,
maybe. I mean, it's gonna be in Spain.
that sense of a period setting. What I mean, well,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got it. Uh, Actual movie stuff though, besides just me going, oh, how did I know that? As you may know, Taylor Kitsch, he doesn't have the best track record at the box office. Star of notable bombs such as John Carter of Mars,
hmm
Battleship,
Well,
and
Battleship was well
also
deserved, but okay.
and Savages. But
Oh,
he's trying to
right,
take his
right, yeah,
yeah, he's trying, and those all came out like in the same like
yeah.
within like 8 months of one another.
Although,
Uh,
to be fair, none of those were his fault.
well, they were
But
fault of someone, and
yeah,
he was the
I don't know.
poster
I
boy.
didn't see Savages, but like that was not really well marketed either. A Battleship, they poured a shitload of money into that marketing, but
Just bad.
it was stupid. Yeah,
That's the thing. Like, okay, everyone like I feel like going on Rotten Tomatoes right now and seeing what Battleship score is
probably like
because
30. I don't know.
if it has to be lower than that because Batman got 30.
hmm
So Batman is much better than that film. Like that's a piece of shit. Like literally.
I
It's a battleship.
Okay, but
And
you're looking at again, you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes as like the meter for quality when all it is that it's just a
that's how
gauge
they are
on whether
advertised.
yeah, it's
No, that's how they're advertised. It's called the
that's
tomato
how
meter.
people look at it. Yeah, but I mean,
That's why
really,
NBC Universal just paid millions and millions of dollars for their name and website.
everyone looks at it, but it's really just a gauge of like, okay, for the critical community and for audiences out there, it's just a gauge on who likes it and who doesn't, and it's that simple. I mean, the critical consensus tends to be pretty fair. Like for Batman versus Superman, I think it at least acknowledges its ambition behind it and that
Look,
it's going
no,
for
no,
things
no.
that are more serious.
No, Rotten Tomatoes is pound per pound the same numbers. 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, 41% on Metacritic. Basically the same rating.
hmm
Critics were just as critical for this Batman versus Superman movie. I've seen both of them.
Again,
I'll
but you're
never
looking at
watch
them like
Battleship
it's a
ever again.
community. All that Rotten Tomatoes is that's a
It is a
gauge on
community.
who likes
No,
something and who
it's a
doesn't.
community
It's
of who they
but
hand
it's not
select
like they
at
all
Rotten Tomatoes as their
yeah, but
critics.
it's not
The
like
same
all
goes
these
for
people
Metacritic.
get together just to say like, oh, this like, we're a community of critics and we're going to decide what uniformly we think this deserves, They're just taking one person's opinion and putting it into like some sort of mathematical algorithm and saying, "Hey, this is it." Like as far as quality,
That's
yeah.
Metacritic. Rotten Tomatoes is they look at the review. If it's positive, it gets a red. If it's negative, it gets a rotten. That's how Rotten Tomatoes works.
Yeah, no, but
So the
even
baseline
then, there's like
was
halfway positive or halfway negative reviews that like kind of skirt in
I
between,
don't
and I don't
I
know
don't
who's
make
the
the math.
person that decides
I
whether
know
that.
that there are tens of millions of people out there that go to these
Oh
websites
yeah,
and they look at these numbers and they decide if they should watch that movie, see that TV show, buy that album, or play that video
I
game.
know, and I
This
do
is
think they're
there's
wrong
science
for
behind
doing
this.
that. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
totally sure.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is the critical consensus behind Battleship and Batman versus Superman is that they are the same
yeah,
on a
but
number standpoint.
okay, on a number standpoint, but you look at what the critical consensus actually says when you read it, and they are graded on totally different scales.
I think they're going to have the.
Like,
Maybe I should do a
there's just there
comparison
is
here.
it's just there's it's something that just no number can really say. Like, no algorithm can take into account that Battleship is just trying to be pulpy fun entertainment, whereas Batman versus Superman is going for far more mature themes of that genre and has much more philosophical uh, undercurrents that are going through the damn thing. In
Let's just
comparison to
blame.
Battleship, that's
We'll,
something that will never a computer will never be able to tell you.
we'll blame this on Taylor Kitsch, just like Battleship and John Carter. And like I said, he's trying to take his own fate into his own hands. So much so that he's going to star, direct, and write this drug thriller called Pieces. If that wasn't bad enough, Peter Berg and the producers from Lone Survivor are paying for this
Why is
experiment.
that bad?
I'm just curious.
I mean, hey,
I want
he's
to
got a good
see.
working relationship with people,
No,
and he
no,
may
yeah,
not be
he
able to
is a good
headline
actor.
a movie. Or I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that he's
They
bad. It's
tried.
he just hasn't picked the project that connected with people
No,
necessarily.
this is the thing though. He was a huge hit on Friday Night
Uh huh.
Lights. People would turn in basically for him. And as soon as that show ended, he was put into these huge movies. Savage is less so, but even still, it's Oliver Stone. That was Oliver Stone, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's Oliver Stone. It's such a big name director that there's a certain fame level there.
but they're just
And
not movies that have connected with a large audience at all. Like
even though John Carter is good, everyone should go see
it
that. It
is
is a
good,
fun
but I mean,
blockbuster.
there are flaws with it. But yeah,
Oh
there's
yeah,
definitely a lot of
tons.
inspired stuff in there. Battleship, I don't know. I mean, it does feel like not putting any blame on Peter Berg. I'm sure he did what he had to do and he did what he could, but like,
They cast Rihanna in a talking
and
role.
then
Okay,
you follow Lone Survivor with that. It's like it feels like that's the trade off. Is, hey, oh, you want to do this movie? Like based on this book that you seem really passionate about. Well, here's the trade off. You got to do this
well,
Hasbro flick for us
I
first.
mean, I'm not here to shit on him. I just thought it was
No,
a
no,
funny
no.
headline.
I'm just saying like
Because
that is kind of what it feels like to me.
he's really great in The Normal Heart on HBO. That was one of my favorite movies of 2014. He's also fairly good in True Detective season 2, even though the season sucks. Um, but yeah, hopefully this movie turns out okay. It would be a shame if it's another just miss and it flops.
Well,
And it sounds like it's gonna be a Lone Survivor type movie with a small release
he is
and out type thing.
he's a lot like Ryan Reynolds in that he really just needs that break, which Ryan Reynolds
No, not
finally got
even
with
though.
Deadpool. I mean, he's
Ryan Reynolds started his career really
yeah, no,
strong.
no.
Like
I mean,
Van Wilder is a great movie. It's
no,
just
it
that
isn't.
he
I
did
mean,
a yeah, it
okay, it
is.
didn't make that much money, and
It's
it's
a National Lampoon movie, okay?
okay. That
It
does
is
that mean that
meant
they're
to
all
be
good
watched.
automatically?
No, I'm saying that's the kind of humor it is. It's an Animal House type movie. It is meant to be watched on Comedy Central late
Okay,
nights,
yes,
like
but
five
okay,
days out of
here's
the week.
just getting back to the point that we're focused on. You're bringing up Taylor Kitsch and that he has no box office appeal. With Ryan Reynolds, that's kind of the same thing. Both of them, pre Deadpool, they were both faces that you saw and that you liked seeing on screen. They had charisma. Now, Ryan Reynolds just
Taylor
struck gold
Kitsch
with
doesn't have
Deadpool
that
finally.
much. Taylor Kitsch doesn't have that much
Well,
charisma.
he hasn't been around
His
as long as Ryan Reynolds, though.
But even in Van Wilder, though, the reason why a lot of people like that movie is because he had so
All
much.
right,
Like
but
he has a great screen
But the
presence. He's
point
very
is
likable.
that he just needs to find his stride there, which, Ryan Reynolds nailed it with Deadpool, and that was perfect timing, and he was in something that was a big fucking success that
Don't
his
forget
name
about
headlined in there.
Selfless. We have a review for that shitstorm.
Yeah,
Never watched that movie, folks. Really bad. But I've
that's
always been a
just you
fan of
see my
Ryan
point, though,
Reynolds.
right?
You know, I what I watched not too long ago at the end of the year. I watched
The
The
Voices.
Voices and also Mississippi Grinds, and I think I saw something else with him.
Again, a bunch of
Um,
projects that don't have much financial gain from there. But yeah, he is generally liked by most people. Like, even if you don't know his name, although you probably do now, he's that face that you see on screen that you recognize and that you like. I'm pretty sure that's the same with Taylor Kitsch, is that, he does have screen
maybe.
presence.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure that I don't know if he'll get in the Sundance, but I'm sure that this film, what's it called again? Pieces
Yeah.
will be, in the festival circuit in a year from now or so.
No, and
I'm
best
just
of luck to
curious.
him, really.
Yeah, but it's just weird that someone with so little success in front of the camera would be jumping behind it so soon. It's usually something that you have to earn after so many successes. Like look at Ron Howard, like he had to be on Happy Days and the fucking Andy Griffith Show for half of his life until he could direct
Well, you
something.
could say that the same thing was like Ben Affleck to some extent. I mean,
Yeah, no, totally.
people were laughing when it was like, "Oh, you're directing Gone Baby Gone? Really? The fucking guy from Jiggly?" And which
Geely,
I know, but come on, the way it's
Reindeer
spelled,
Games.
it's like, why would you not call it that? And
I mean, better yet,
Daredevil got a bunch of back talk back in the day.
his next big one, Live by Night's coming out October 20th, 2017. It finally got a date.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see that one next year. Just in time for the Justice League. Like I swear to God, like it's gonna be out. Isn't Justice League Christmas?
No, November. November 17th, 2017, my birthday.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Live by Night's gonna be in theaters at the same time as Justice League. You're gonna be able to see two Batfleck movies at the same time. That's gonna be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see them both
I know you
back
are.
to back, back to back.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure that I was not wrong about that date. Yeah, November 17th, 2017, my birthday. And it's also competing with Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas from Universal.
That's the
That's
CGI
yeah,
one, right?
Illumination Entertainment. I think that's
That might be
because it's
good.
yeah, it's Universal. Would it? I'm not a fan of what Illumination has been putting out lately.
It might
Oh
be good
wow,
though.
there's a My Little Pony movie competing with Thor Ragnarok. I'm not kidding. Friday,
I mean, the
November
Sony
3rd.
emoji movie is coming out sometime around then too.
Okay, yeah. Murder of the
And
Orient
the
Express is that
Bratz
month,
movie.
and
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Kenneth
Coco
Branagh's
is
gonna ruin
yeah,
it.
Coco is coming out Thanksgiving weekend of that year.
That Kenneth Branagh is gonna be great. Fox, I got faith in you. Moving on, a couple more movies here before we get into TV.
Hmm.
Margot Robbie, who everyone knows from Wolf of Wall Street and soon will because of Suicide Squad, hashtag DC Comics, is attached to I, Tonya, a biopic about the 1994 figure skating controversy between Harding and Kerrigan. This should be an amazing movie. I saw the 30 for 30, The Price of Gold last year, and I knew it was going to make an amazing movie. There's just
Yeah.
so much drama here, and the fact that it's real. It's a shame that Amy Adams wasn't cast instead because she looks exactly like Tanya Harding. Like it's scary how close they look like. Um, but yeah, I really hope this is good. I hope it's not a flop. And even if it is, like I said, there's already an ESPN documentary out there that's so great that it doesn't necessarily matter anyway. Have you seen that, or
No,
you haven't seen like any 30 for 30s on?
I've seen a College Humor 30 for 30 on Angels in the Outfield, if that counts.
Yeah, well, I've seen that
Which
too. I've
is
seen
really
the
funny.
Space Jam one too.
Oh, there's a Space Jam one.
Yeah, that's no one. That one's not College Humor, but it's also pretty good.
Okay, I'm making a list
It's
of
like
that.
what they call it. It's like Toon Squad, the greatest game ever played, or something horrible.
I have to see this now. All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like it was pushed out like for the 20th anniversary.
I have, it's funny because I have Space Jam actually in my Netflix queue right now. I've just gotten nostalgic for it recently for
Yeah.
some reason. So yeah, I'll be watching that again at some point.
You know that the original Space Jam website's still online and functioning.
For real?
Yeah, and Warner Brothers. I mentioned this in the marketing that I did, the publicity for You've Got Mail. That website is also still up too. Both really, You Got Mail's website is way cooler. There's stuff like the chat dialogues between Shopgirl and New York
Have there been
152.
have old websites gone down at all that you can think of?
Yeah,
Like
well, this
I
is what
haven't gone
happens.
back to
Like
check
when
them out, but
you
I wonder if some of them are still up.
do you really think that most movie like marketing websites stay up? Like once the movie's on home video, it's gone. Like you have to pay money like on an annual basis to keep a domain name. And so it's for that reason, it's just pretty peculiar that Space Jam is still up, and it's like a GeoCities website. It's so old school. Like they made this in like 1994, 1995. But it's it's like funny archival internet type stuff.
Well,
But
yeah.
other big female stars, Emma Stone, she's gonna be
Oh man,
starring in.
sorry. I just got distracted by a pretty funny tweet right now.
What the fuck are you on Twitter?
And yeah, I'm multitasking, but like, well, it just popped up because I see my stream strolling on my computer screen while we're recording this. So it's funny. Larry Fong just tweeted "OMG" while retweeting a tweet from Donald Trump right after Ben Affleck got cast as Batman. It says everybody should calm down. Ben Affleck is going to do a great job as Batman.
Well, it is
That's
true.
from Donald Trump, though. I don't know. It's just funny. Yeah. No, yeah, but my
Um,
stream is rolling while we're recording, so I have that going in front of me.
well,
Anyway, move
all
on.
10 of your followers can chip in right now. Then,
I've gained some
um,
new ones today, so
they're probably
yeah, moving
bots.
on. I got 19, by the way.
Oh, good job,
Yeah.
actually. No bullshit. But yeah, Emma Stone, she's gonna be starring in a film titled Letters from Rosemary. It was on the blacklist last year, and it's about JFK's oldest sister who had behavioral problems and was ultimately one of the first frontal lobotomized people on the planet. It's produced by Anonymous Content, who does a lot of stuff like this. Most notably, they won the Oscar for Spotlight this past year. This sounds really interesting. I kind of want to see it. I just hope it's not marketed the wrong way. It's not like super heavy, like hashtag feminism, hashtag like gender equality.
I think that's going to
Because
be more of the
basically,
social media culture behind it that's helping promote it through word of mouth, probably. But yeah,
maybe like I hope this doesn't suffer the same way Suffragette did, because it kind of sounds like the same movie. But in reading it, and like I left out a lot of this story because I didn't want to ruin anything. But basically, the Kennedys forced her to have procedure performed on her because she was different than the rest of the family, if that makes sense. And it's like, why would you purposely sucker punch her like that? Huh. Hashtag Zack Snyder.
oh god, that's not Bill Cosby bad, but
That joke's really good.
the Bill Cosby one.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've listened to that a couple of times.
Really, very proud
Yeah.
of yourself. No,
I have the timestamp. If you want to hear the joke he's talking about, go to the 1 hour and 16 minute and 44 second spot on the last 2 cent episode.
they said no, and I did it anyway.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Sorry, moving on.
Uh,
Moving on up.
yeah, this part of the show always sucks, and no one listens to it. Uh,
What?
if you do wait this long, if you do stay this long on the show, give us a shout out. I would love it on Twitter. You can do a
Have you
personal
noticed that
one.
too? It's like once we get an hour in, then things get more lax, or I don't know. It's just
It's not even lax. It's just
we kind of just ramble
it's
on.
like we get to the movies part, and it's like, well, this kind of sucks. None of
Is
these are
there
that interesting.
anybody out there? Well, I don't think
Like,
it's
it's
that
like,
they're not interesting. It's just yeah, this week there really isn't anything. Batman versus Superman is the big news. That's about
that's
it.
why that's why they started the show.
Yeah.
I picked the headlines on purpose, but it's hard to make these interesting. It's like the trades already report on. I'm reporting on what the reporting
Well, it
was.
depends on what the news is. Like, what do you got right now?
Okay, so Ava DuVernay, she's going to be co-writing and
Okay, yeah.
directing
Sorry,
a
sorry.
film at
Boring,
HBO.
boring, boring. No,
Yeah,
I'm
the
kidding.
battle. This actually sounds like it might be
It
good.
yeah. Hopefully it will be.
Um, yeah, it's called The Battle of Versailles. It's about the 1973 Palace of Versailles fashion show that put American designers and black models on the map. So obviously she has, personal interest in the story. Um, I wonder what the production design is going to look like. I hope they get some really cool
Hmm.
costumes. Um, I doubt they're going to shoot on location, but just when I read this, I kind of got like a Paris is Burning mentality. I was like, that if they look like that, it's going to be awesome. But sure, they're going to be like real skinny and tall and models.
And I want to see
Um,
like it's funny because when Ava DuVernay gets brought up, it is kind of that thing where I don't know about you, but I do groan a bit just because it's like then Selma's brought up, and like it's a movie I was underwhelmed by. Like I really want to see her differentiate herself from that as far
yeah,
as possible.
you can't
She's
blame
still
her
someone
because
who's growing as a talent.
yeah, but she's kind of been pegged as the black woman director.
Yeah, and that's really what I hate. That I would rather just look at her as a filmmaker. But yeah, in conversation, that's all she's brought up as is the minority that made this movie.
Well, it's because, she picks projects that are related to not only who she is, but, kind of her repertoire. Like she does tell stories about, you know, black characters, which someone
Yeah,
has
no, I mean
to.
that's I
It's
don't think
just
it's
she,
not like it's her fault or anything. It's just mainly the
yeah.
reaction around it, where it's just kind of like just stop modern culture, please. Just stop. Just you're I don't know. Well, you know what I mean. But yeah, like
I
I
do
want
know
to
what you mean.
I want to see her make more stuff and be more than just the director of Selma.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because the next movie that I got to report right here is probably something that no one knows about because that the book it's being adapted from isn't even published yet. But the girl that played Rue in the Hunger Games, she's going to be starring in an upcoming Black Lives Matter inspired young adult book titled "The Hate You Give." When you spell that out, it's Thug, which is inspired by one of Tupac's tattoos at Fox 2000. It's about a girl whose best friend is shot by a cop and is caught between her ghetto neighborhood and the suburban prep school that she just started going to.
So basically, a lame young adult version of Latin, right?
Of what?
Of Latin, or if you want to translate that to English, it's Hate, the French movie by Mathieu Kassavok. I can't pronounce his last name,
You
man.
you speak French and you can't pronounce his
It's
name?
just because I can't remember how it's spelled, and I've never said
The
the name out loud.
Hashishvas?
Okay, let me.
The artist guy, right?
No, no, that's not the guy. No, it's. I know he's the guy that did Babylon AD, and which he was.
Great flick.
We forgive him for it because that was Fox in the bad years, and he's openly just shat on the experience of making that
Well,
movie.
we forgive
Okay,
Vin Diesel for
Mathieu
that too.
Kassovitz, yeah. God, yeah, I rewatched that recently. You saw that on my
Why?
Letterboxd account, I'm sure. Fucking
No,
great
no, I
movie.
didn't.
Oh man, so
You're
so
talking
good.
about Babylon AD?
No, no, Latin. I've
Okay,
never
I was
seen
gonna.
Babylon AD, but I know.
What? Like all I remember is like I'm pretty sure they gave Vin Diesel blue eyes in that movie, and they like covered it up. They're like, yeah, when the battles happen, genetic
All right, yeah,
disorders.
but just I don't know. The main point is like, yeah, you bring that up of like a cop getting shooting a best friend. It's like, yeah, that's kind of a big part of Latin, and I don't know, just yeah, rewatching that movie recently, like just really, I gave it an extra star rating compared to last time I watched it on Letterboxd. I think because just I don't know, socially, it's just with all the shit that's happened in the past year, like it really rings like it's just scary, you know. And this is like in a different part of the world too, where all this stuff is happening and still happening in the projects. But
Well, it's
you
just
should
good
see that
that
movie though. In general, like everyone
maybe
should see that movie. Like,
sounds kind of like Do the Right Thing,
oh
but
yeah,
maybe I'll
no, no,
check
no,
it out.
no. It is like it's funny. It's like Do the Right Thing and Clerks combined. It really is.
No, Clerks kind of is Do the Right Thing, but yeah, I
Yeah, no,
got
no,
you.
no. Like I mean, yeah, Clerks was inspired by that, but this is like based on black and white and just the font in general. Like, yeah, it's a great mixture of that. And yes, it's in French, but you know what? That like I'm pretty sure it can reach an audience out there that is able to like. I think this is on Hulu Plus through the Criterion Collection. But yeah, just everyone should see this movie. It's so good.
Um, I think it's good in terms of this the Hate You Give film. I'm sure they're gonna attract a black director, probably a producer.
Hmm.
Um, but the fact that this kind of movie is being made, it is Fox 2000, so it's going to, be a somewhat limited release. But it might get people thinking, even though it's a couple of years removed from when all the big shootings had happened over the last year. And this is something that we covered in our dope review, which if you haven't seen it and you're listening this far in the episode, definitely check it out. It is streaming on Netflix now. Um, but there's a flip side of the coin, and this is one of them. Hollywood continues to make black
I
remakes
was
of
just
movies,
gonna say that. Like for this, I
and
really like. I hope that there's no
yeah,
exclusion of like a white crew or of like just a white point of view from there necessarily. Like
but
I
this
don't see
one,
that, and I don't know. It sounds like that might. I don't know. I just expect backlash in the way that I'm phrasing it, but it's just like it just feels like you shouldn't divide it in entertainment of who something is for specifically. You should try to make these things appeal to the masses so that
well, this
everyone
is an
can
actual
find common
example
ground with
though.
that. Yeah.
They're remaking Jacob's Ladder, starring Michael Ealy, aka the guy from the Perfect Man, the
Hmm.
crazy psycho guy.
Yeah.
He was also coincidentally in the black remake of About Last Night with Kevin Hart. Um, this isn't a movie that deserves a remake. It's not that good to begin with. It's a weird psychological thriller starring Tim Robbins. I tried to see it a while ago. It's about a guy that has like PTSD because of Vietnam and him going through New York and thinking that he sees demons and they're just like his inner demons. It has like a strong biblical undertones, hence Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would want to remake this, and I hope it's just that they have a black guy starring it now instead of a whole black cast, because this is something that happens a lot, and it's like I said, with something like The Hate You Give or Ava DuVernay's film HBO The Battle of Versailles, where it means something to the story. Totally get it. It makes sense. Like it is a story that needs to be
Hmm.
told with a certain aspect or a certain cast. But for something like this, when you remake a movie that's already fine as it was,
And
and
just
you just put black people in it
exactly.
and you marketed it towards black people, like I don't
Yeah,
know,
just to call
a
it.
death at a funeral, or do you remember when that came out, the all black
Yeah,
version,
no, that was
and the
like
only
three
white person,
years after, and the only white
yeah,
person was Peter Dinklage. Because I mean, who
yeah,
else were
playing
you
the
gonna
same role,
get? Tony Cox,
exactly,
maybe. But I mean,
yeah. Well, they could have,
yeah,
yeah.
they could have. I
Uh,
mean, it's just to do a remake and call it the black version. That's the opposite of what we're going for at this point. I mean,
mhm.
or I don't know. What do you want to do? Say like, okay, yay, it's great that they're getting work, but I don't know. It
I just
doesn't seem like progress whatsoever if you're
the
just gonna
weirdest
call it the
part
black version.
is that audiences go out to see these quote unquote black
Hmm.
remakes. And so that's why Hollywood continues to make them. They know that they're profitable. They have a certain market that it appeals
Yeah,
to.
like
And it makes
they're
sense
not. I don't
because
think they're doing it
if,
to be racist. It's just, yeah,
well,
from a
no, not to
business
be racist,
perspective,
just,
yeah,
yeah, to
definitely.
capitalize on the money that they make. But it makes sense because when you think about this way, like, there's enough people out there, especially black people or minorities, that don't see enough people of color on screen that they are excited to see one starring an all black cast. It's
It's
just, I
fair,
think
yeah.
it's really depressing and kind of a mockery that the films that are getting greenlit are remakes of films that had all white casts. I mean, if the story's good, the story's good. But about last night, I tried watching that thing. I turned it
Yeah,
off.
it's not that great. I mean, I'm gonna repeat. I'm not gonna. You've said everything that
I'm not
needs to be
saying the black
said.
version.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the
the
original
original.
with Demi Moore and what's his name from The Grinder. Like
I
I
don't even
tried
know.
watching that.
I just know
I
that it's a
turned that
remake.
fucker
But
off, and so I just am not interested in the black version. Like it's not. Well, maybe I mean they could have made it better. I'm just not a fan of Kevin Hart, to be honest. He's in so many shit. Like
hey, he
at the
works hard,
Oscars,
man.
at the Oscars they had a lot of jokes about him and how like Chris Rock's like he's taking over every black role in Hollywood. It's like yeah, that's pretty much true. Um,
Well, he's like the new Sam Jackson. Not related in any way to his
eh,
race, but I mean, yeah, he's popping up everywhere and working hard.
well,
So good for him.
he still hasn't had a crossover movie. He hasn't done a dramatic role yet.
No,
So I would really like to see if he has any acting chops because he plays the same character, he speaks the same way, has the same mannerisms, and he's at a point now where they write for him anyway.
yeah, he can
That
move out of
it's
his
that's
comfort zone at that point. He has that clout.
I don't know if he can. I think he's kind of stuck and he's about to be Dave
You
Chappelle.
think
They're
he's
gonna
being
want him to
typecast?
do Yeah, I think they're going to want him to do something. He's the short, black, funny guy who is a foil for the dramatic
And
character.
he always
And you can
makes
put him up
white people
against,
jokes. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
like you can put him up against Ice Cube or Will Ferrell, like other funny men, but
God
he's
damn it,
probably
you're
not
right.
able
Yeah.
to really lead a film on his own. Like the best example I got here is Ride Along. Like he is the star of that. And it's like, oh, Ice Cube's in it too. Um, but I would really like to see him, not go all the way, not do something super dramatic. Like I'm not looking for Eternal Sunshine or anything like
Hmm.
that. But I would like to see if he does have some skill in his repertoire. Like if he isn't just going for the funny punchline and the slapstick humor and falling over something and oh, you think I'm so tall now? Huh? Why don't you get you on a leash? Like I want to see him. I don't want to see a film that he's in.
No, yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I do
He's
find the guy is pretty funny though. Like, I mean,
no, he's very funny. He's very
even yeah,
likable.
and I do like him generally. Like, even if it's like a small role or something, he is typically a good
Small.
presence. I did like. I thought Get Hard was okay, but I did enjoy him in it. I did think he was funny in it. And I don't know. Also, just because I guess racial humor to me is pretty funny, just
Yeah.
because of the audacity of it. Um, no, but yeah, no. I mean, everything that you said, like I can't say it any different because you're right, and I have the exact same point of view, and yeah, I would seriously, just yeah, just I don't know. It's just yeah. Let's move on.
It's
The
like
piece has been
maybe
said.
it's like the thing is like maybe we're just coming at this from white film
Wide angle
goers and
point
we
of views,
see it
but I mean, but it's
exactly
it's
and
true
like
that is like there's no working together. It's just when you're dividing people like into specific groups, and I mean like I don't know, it's like you're kind of separating us further. You're still, even though it's not overtly being stated, in some way subconsciously that's still being communicated that you should hang out with your own group of people, right? And just
mhm.
I don't know.
It's like Medea, that's a big franchise.
Hmm.
I get it. Like that's kind of like the Black
Well,
Kevin Smith
I don't know.
movie.
It's like I don't know. I don't mean to like knock on it because it's not to say like I'm not saying like, oh, black culture and entertainment shouldn't exist or anything.
Hmm.
Because it's like, yeah, okay, that aside from
But
race, that does appeal to an
there
audience that has
is a
different
line in the
tastes.
sand
Yeah,
though.
like that also appeals to an audience like that has clearly a different taste in humor.
It's just we've talked about this on the show before, and it's what's her name from Clueless got a lot of flack on from being on Fox News and Fox and Friends or whatever, Stacey
Uh
Dash.
huh.
It's like, yeah, like if you want to have these leading roles, if you want a diverse cast, if you want black people not just in front of the screen behind, and not just black, but anyone of color, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, it doesn't matter, then you have to be willing to give up your you're not helping the cause when you make things only for
Yeah.
you. Because it is the same. It's just as bad. It's like I saw this picture on Facebook. It was like men greater or women greater than men isn't feminism. Black greater than white isn't Afrocentrism or like there it was like some chart like that. It was like it's so simple. Why don't you get it? But like I said, it is easy to say this as someone as a white male who is in a society where heteronormativity is big too. That it's hard to really understand the struggle when I haven't really dealt with it.
I don't know. It's at the same time though with this stuff, I feel like in a way maybe my way of coming at it is just in a way of you know like no, you can never make anybody happy. Like it's not like I'm looking specifically to complain about this. I'm probably just looking at it from the dark side. But it's like, I mean, because that's the thing with any entertainment is like, yeah, there's always going to be some sort of negative aspect that people will complain about. And I'm sure, like I have said this before, like, why are you complaining so hard about Batman versus Superman? Calm down. I'm sure that someone might be coming at this from the same point of view and saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, just calm down. It's just entertainment. Like, it's not gonna matter on like such a big level. And probably it won't. To some people, it will. And I don't know. I guess maybe
I
I'm
mean,
thinking too
that's a
deeply
bad
on it. Yeah.
example because those two
No,
characters have
it's just
been
that's the
part
first example that
of
came to my head.
American, well, not just American, but international minds for over
But you
75
get what I
years.
mean, right? Like people do tend
Yeah,
to
yeah.
overanalyze entertainment. Maybe that's what we're doing, and there's people that probably like out there that will enjoy this. I'm
I
sure it will be
just,
fine.
I think it's interesting because for how much talk that, I mean, and it is a good movie, but for how much people talked about Tangerine, the most interesting thing I think wasn't that it was called a black starring movie,
It was
but
the
that it was
iPhone, right?
it was, well, yeah, it was either it's the
That was the
iPhone
hype that
movie
it got behind it,
or
really.
it was the film about two transgendered people. It was not about it being a black film. And
Like I
the
would
media
say
could have
like
done
yeah,
that.
that they kind of just skirted over the transgender thing. Like
Yeah,
all it's been talked about is that movie that's shot
it's
on the
shot on an
iPhone.
iPhone.
Yeah, like that's it. That's all it's known as.
Well, I mean,
If
it
it
was
wasn't,
known
and here's the
for the
thing,
transgender thing too,
it
but I'm
is
saying
like like people do bring
that
about that.
isn't a black
There
film.
are good think pieces about that, but if that wasn't shot on the iPhone, would that movie get that much exposure?
Maybe it's possible. I
I'm
mean,
not
there's
sure.
such great performances in it anyway, and it does look
I
beautiful. But then again, it's like one of those. It looks beautiful because it's on an
I do
iPhone.
feel like the iPhone is the big attention grabber of like and then people realize like as they watch it, oh, and it's also set in this scene that we never get to see, like that. Like people can write think pieces about that later, but that's the main hook. That's the main thing that they were selling it on, or that just everyone was talking about. That's how people heard about the damn movie. I mean,
Hmm.
that was the very first thing that I heard about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's what's
So
impressive.
that's
It's
what
what's
gets
notable.
exposure first, and that's that wasn't like the whole transgender angle. The social issues are not part of the conversation when that movie gets brought up for the first time. So, and that's kind of sad that you have to like resort to a gimmick to get
Right.
there first.
Well, it is a good movie though.
Yeah, no,
So
it's a funny movie.
also on Netflix, folks. Go watch that one too. Uh, fun casting news. Just one thing, almost at the TV. Paul McCartney's gonna be having a cameo in the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He just shot it, so he joins the likes of what's his
Keith
name
Richards.
from Keith Richards. So the second huge rock star to be in the franchise. What role is he fucking playing? I can't really see him acting again. I mean, he wasn't really a good actor back in the day when he was, franchise superstar with the rest of the Beatles.
I don't
Um,
know. Don't ask me. Like I'm.
maybe it's gonna be
I don't care. I love Pirates of the Caribbean, the trilogy, but I don't need another one. I didn't need a fourth one. I'm done with it.
Disney does. I
I
did
don't
I watch that fourth one? I don't even know.
I don't even the
I
fourth
think I
one
did.
it made like 1 billion
Was
worldwide, but it wasn't
was
that
that
big
the
domestic.
one
Yeah, that's the
where Johnny Depp was walking around with the hallucinating crabs in the sand? Was that
no,
one?
that's the third one.
I don't think I saw the fourth one
Yeah,
though.
the fourth one's the one with Ian McShane and Blackbeard, and it was really really boring. Third one is fucking weird, but at least it's big and operatic and just epic. Like I mean, I really fucking dig that one.
I think the best thing about those films, besides just Jack Sparrow's character, is Naomi Harris got a career. I think that's what it is. It's like we wouldn't have a money penny without those movies, or like
Maybe,
she
yeah,
wouldn't be the money
you could
penny.
be right. But yeah, no, that she's for like for a character that you don't understand most of the time. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's how many can you say that you don't necessarily understand them, but yet they still make an impression and you like them. People fucking complained about Tom Hardy not being clearly audible in The Revenant, so
and The Dark Knight Rises.
that's a different issue. That's not his fault. I think fucking fans. I think they ruined a good performance there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been. I wish there was a director's cut of that where it was the original,
Yeah. At the same
like
time,
on set
at the
dialogue,
same time,
not the
I
ADR
do
shit.
respect though Nolan just of going like, hey, I'm just gonna leave this alone and move on, like that, because that's the thing that I think, you know, that's saying of like, hey, films are never finished; they're just abandoned. Well, for the sake of like moving on and developing your skills, you do kind of have to abandon and just grow and focus on making more important stuff or better stuff as you get older. I think.
Well,
Yeah.
talking about important and better stuff as you get
I'm gonna
older,
stop bringing in red herrings.
Netflix just introduced Adam Sandler's next movie for their four-picture deal. It's
Yeah.
called The Do-Over. It's going to be streaming Friday, May 27th. The teaser's already out there. David Spade's in this one. Can't wait to see it. You know we're going to have a review for this sucker. I think it has something to do with like witness relocation or something. I don't know. I'm going to watch it though. It can't be worse than The Ridiculous
Well,
Six.
I'm not going to review it that Friday because I'm going to be seeing X-Men Apocalypse. So,
No, I will be seeing this instead.
yeah, you're well, okay.
Probably.
Well, I'll probably be like a week late. I'm sorry, I'd rather see Apocalypse.
See, I'm not gonna watch this teaser. I'm just gonna watch the thing, and I'm gonna have my fingers crossed
Yeah.
that it's
I
good.
mean, you don't
'Cause-
need to see. I didn't see Ridiculous Six teasers. I don't think. I mean, it's not like they're being promoted in theaters, so why would I watch that?
I don't know. Maybe we'll give I'll drop a line for Future Horse Pod, and maybe we can do an Adam Sandcast with them.
Oh man, yeah. I did listen to their Funny People episode a while back because of course I had to.
Yeah. Last
Glad
thing
to
for
hear that they
movies
didn't
here.
hate it.
Rob Zombie's film 31, which was going through controversy a couple months back because it got an NC-17 rating twice from the MPAA. It is gonna get a release. I'm assuming that means it's R-rated. It's gonna be real limited. It's coming out September 16th, so just in time for Halloween. I'll probably see this. I'm just curious. He is one of the only horror auteurs we have currently. Um,
Yes, when was the last time? I think that Devil's Rejects is the only thing that I like of his. But yeah, no, he definitely has a distinctive style. I don't know. I can't say I'm excited, but I would love it if
I'm not
I would
excited,
love it
but
if I saw this and it surprised me, just like Devil's
right?
Rejects did, because I did rewatch that about a year ago, and there's still value in that. Like,
Oh yeah, I saw that in theaters. That movie's really funny. It was great audience
Man,
too,
like I did a
because I was
double
laughing maniacally.
I did a double feature with that and House of a Thousand Corpses, like because
Yeah,
a friend had me watch that
it's
for the first time.
that's
I
such a. It's not a
hated
bad
I
movie.
did it was not good, like, and I was so worried that Devil's Rejects would not hold up, and
No,
thankfully it's still really fucking good.
I totally don't regret that decision. My brother, I went to the movies with my dad, my stepmom, who they were just dating at this point, and my brother, and he wanted to take us to see House of Thousand Corpses. Like, nope, I'm too scared. I'm a pussy. I'm not gonna see it. So I got them to take me to watch Malibu's Most Wanted instead. Best decision ever. Um, Only one of those is still a classic.
It's a better
You
one
know
than
that.
Freddy Got Fingered. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
kidding. Yeah,
yeah, slightly better.
yeah.
I mean, just as over the top and weird, it's just Freddy Got Fingered goes a whole extra step. You'll find out in a couple
All
of
right.
days. Um, but yeah, that's it for the movies. We got a couple TV things here. The last thing on our show last week was that mysterious Cary Fukunaga, Emma Stone, Jonah Hill TV show, the adaptation of the Norwegian series called Maniac. Turns out is going to Netflix, so that's really big. That not only are they getting two big stars, but also a big
That
director
they've
that,
already got relations with, and they're
yeah,
probably
through
very
yeah,
good at
piece
this
of
point that they're
donation.
bringing him back.
But that just really amplifies how big 2016 is for Netflix. We kind of didn't believe it last year when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're pumping all this money. We're gonna have all this stuff. We're gonna have a ton of content." It's like every week, constantly, consistently, we have at least one item from them of this caliber. Last week, you had
Yeah.
the Drew Barrymore, um, well, what's his name show, and then also there was the Mumblecore thing they have in Chicago with Joe
No,
Swansburg.
I've said this
Like,
to you before. Like they're attracting a lot of creative people out there to put
mhm.
content, and they've got to be really, really good to work with in order to be able to put out this much content out. So
I think what it is more so than anything is that they're allowing creators to have final
yeah,
cut. That
exactly.
seems like what it is because you look at how many people are attracted to them. They're probably just like, look, we'll give you the money, you make the thing, we'll put it out. It doesn't matter because even if it sucks, people are gonna watch it.
Hmm.
Like critics can't hurt Netflix, and it's true because when you
Yeah, and I
already
mean,
paid the money,
Ridiculous
you're
Six
gonna
is
watch it.
over long and way longer that should have been. They clearly had final cut and made it as long as they wanted. Like,
So
yeah, but
who makes a 2 hour
ugh,
comedy western?
well, yeah,
What the fuck were they doing?
whatever they
But yeah,
wanted, clearly.
here's a prime example of people might go there. They already have a deal. But the Duplass brothers, their show Togetherness on HBO, it just got canceled.
It's a
The
bummer.
second season, there's 3 episodes. Well, it's Sunday, so there's
Yeah.
2 episodes left. Really good show. I love that first season. I've only caught up on like the first two of this
I
one.
wanted to watch it,
Um,
and now it's
you
yeah,
should. That
it's a bummer to hear because I know a lot of people love that show.
that it's different, especially for a Sunday night HBO show. But yeah, it's gotten canceled. It'd be cool if maybe it got picked up on Netflix or something, because like I said, they do have a relationship there. They also have it at HBO, obviously, but they have like a four-picture deal, I believe, at Netflix. It'd be cool if they made like a togetherness finale movie. Then instead of making a third season, they just wrap everything up and make it a film.
Yeah, maybe you know the show better than I do, and I know little to nothing. I've just seen like stuff on spots before streaming something on HBO Go. But yeah, no, I still want to watch the show. I have to get to that.
Yeah, give it a
I got to
shot.
get to a lot of
Um,
stuff.
Big time, not canceled, got renewed. Girl, Top of the Lake, Jane Champion show that was on BBC. What was that, 3 years ago now? Gwendolyn Christie has just joined the cast for the second series. It's going to be subtitled China Girl. It takes place 4 years after, just like in real life. It's still going to star Elizabeth Moss. She's going to be reprising her award-winning role. It's set to premiere in 2017. It's going to have 6 hour-long episodes. It's going to be both on Sundance and then streaming exclusively on Hulu. This is another win for Hulu. We've talked about them carving out their niche. Last week it was, them getting Curious George. The weeks before that, at the top of the show it was VR. But they have their Criterion Collection stuff, they obviously are looking for the indie fare. They want people to go there for critically acclaimed things, and this is a big one. Not a lot of people have seen Top the Lake, but I really loved it. Really good mystery show, kind of in the same vein of that first season of The Killing.
Yeah, I'll take your word
Um,
for it because I haven't seen it either.
just a female led, not just in front of the camera, but behind it as well. Mystery, and it's in an interesting locale. It takes place in, I believe it's New Zealand, and so there's a learning curve with the dialogue, but just really good show, really solid. But then again, it's a mystery, and that's the thing that I like. Um, this should have been at the top of the show, but it doesn't really fucking matter, so that's why it's here. But Apple's making another TV show. This one is an unscripted series about app developers. Kind of sounds like Silicon Valley. It probably
Is
is.
it just more mumblecore if it's not scripted?
I don't know. I'm guessing that might mean it's reality. That's usually what that term dignifies.
Someone has to do that in the streaming market compared to MTV or something. Someone's got to port that over. So hey, maybe
I
who knows?
guess it seems like a weird next step considering their Dr. Dre
It is,
show
yeah.
just started. I think the first episode went out yesterday. So who knows who's seen that, if anyone's seen it.
Well, Dr. Dre's got a
I
ton of
don't
Twitter followers, I imagine. So
I
probably
don't
fans, yeah.
I just don't understand why. Like, it makes sense, like they're gonna put VR out there, they're gonna make a car at some point, they're gonna do anything they fucking can because they never lose money, or at least they haven't in like 20 years, so they forgot what it's like. Um, but I don't know if the cult of Mac is so big that people are gonna tune in for a reality show about app developers. Like that doesn't seem like the right move for them. I can't imagine their audience really being that interested in that. Like maybe Google. Like if Google had,
Hmm.
their own show, like yeah, that sounds like exactly like something that they would do. They have a bigger audience. Well, we'll see, I guess. I'm guessing that this will be out sometime later this year since it's
Yeah.
reality. I can't imagine it's good.
I well, it's reality. So I mean, is that ever
Yeah.
good?
I've watched some reality
Reality
before, like
TV is the excrement of
back in
televised
the
programming. So I mean, yeah, yeah. I used to watch, stuff like Viva La Bam and think that that was reality. Then I rewatched those episodes.
yeah, no,
No,
totally set
no,
up. No.
yeah.
I
I
used to
was a
watch
stupid 13-year-old.
there was the show on, it was like originally on VH, no, it was originally on the WB and then it moved to VH1. It was called shit, what was it called? I can't remember right now, but it was like it was one of those like Big Brother type shows where everyone's in the same house, but the catch here was that they're all like has-been celebrities. It was like Gary Coleman, Vanilla Ice, Charo, like Kathleen Baker, Ron Jeremy, and it was just bizarre to see all these like has-beens in the like doing things together all the time, and it was actually really good. I think it would actually be good on a rewatch, especially since Gary Coleman's died.
I'm just remembering though. Sorry to interrupt, but like I'm just remembering a
Uh,
bunch of MTV reality shows like I used to watch. Like
the Real World and Road
I never
Rules
watched
and
The Real World, but and like stupid fake shit like MTV Cribs, which is dumb but was entertaining.
I love
Pimp
that.
My Ride, like
Pimp My Ride, I watched
yeah,
that
no,
like back to
I
back
loved
to
that,
back.
but
So
it's
good.
funny because like I think that was the one where I was starting to realize how fake reality TV was when I just realized, why is it that every time he goes to someone's door they just lose their shit like it's the fucking second coming right there. Like you
I
got exhibit right there.
Did you ever watch fuck, what was that show called? It wasn't called Blind Date, but I think that's what it was. Um
I was thinking of Boiling
the,
Point right now for some reason.
well, I didn't like one,
I,
but there was also
I can't remember what the blind date one was, but
Room Raiders. That one was
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like that was actually a pretty good show. I like the concept behind that one.
and MTV
It is
back in the day, man.
curious. It is curious that we don't have live streaming reality shows.
That's what that should happen at some point,
Like,
I
why
imagine.
don't we have the Truman Show? Like, we do have Snapchat. We were talking about this earlier in the show. We do have Periscope and like Twitch TV, but that's all
There's an
like a
opportunity there,
stationary
man.
single
Mine from it.
camera.
Make something out of it. Come on,
Oh,
do
what?
it,
Like,
Mr. Gillis.
you
You
need
can
such
do
a
it.
You need such a big cash pool to do something like that.
You can
Plus,
set up a
just
bunch of GoPros at GameStop and get something interesting out of that.
yeah, we already got security cameras. What, you just want me to copy over the security feed?
Well, set up some microphones too and get GoPros in
We
there.
got the
Get
microphones. It's
GoPros
crazy.
so you can have better
When we're
cameras in there.
working, especially at night, we'll get a
I'm
call
not being
from.
serious. You don't
No,
have to
I'm being
tell me.
serious right
You
now.
don't have
We
to
get a
tell me.
call from security to ask if we're doing okay. They're like, "Hey, this is so and so, such and such security. We're just calling to see how everything's going there tonight." And we're like, "Yeah, we're doing good." And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna continue to live
You have
monitoring your
reality
footage."
show gold right there, man. Use it.
No thanks.
Seriously.
Probably get fired. They're like, "Are we filming the customers
Well, yeah, you
yesterday?"
got to censor their faces out if they don't sign release forms. You know, that's what you do.
It's like at the end of the transaction. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Here, do my survey. By the way, can you sign this piece of paper? Why? Just do it.
Just have someone outside like explain it. I don't know how that works. Or you
Some
just pay
yeah.
people or hire friends like tell them to go inside and pretend to be customers and shit.
It would be yeah. That's exactly like reality
Yeah,
TV.
exactly. There you go.
That'd be
Easy
perfect.
money, man.
Easy money. This
Just be like Jake Gyllenhaal and Nightcrawler, and you'll have something, man.
that movie was underrated. Talking about Top the Lake, kind of skipping over Apple's announcement. Fuck them. Neil Cross, the creator and writer for almost every episode of Luther, he's been tapped to bring the talented Mr. Ripley to the small screen stateside. I don't know if this is going to be a hit. I mean, that Matt Damon movie is pretty weird. Apparently, there's five novels they were released between like the late 40s and the early 70s. So there's a lot to pick and choose from there. It is a psychological drama. Have you seen that movie?
No, I still need to. That was
Oh,
almost a potential debt to cinema. Might still be at
no, don't do
It
it.
might still be at some point if it's relevant to whatever's coming out. Who knows?
I really don't want to rewatch that. I mean, it has a fairly
All
good
right, I'll
cast.
take your
It's
word
like
for it.
it's Jude Law, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Matt Damon. I think Charlize Theron's in it
I'll
too.
spare you the
Um,
suffering and find what the next Star Wars holiday special is instead.
okay, I'm telling you, Freddy Got Fingered is not
All
bad.
right, we'll see. We'll see.
Um, but this
I'm
is the
not
first time
expecting
that
something horrible, but I just yeah, we'll find it.
this is the first time Neil Cross is coming to the U.S. So even if it sucks, I think it'll be interesting to see what kind of audience he can garner here. I mean, obviously it's gonna be an international thing because everything is nowadays. But you gotta remember, like they were thinking about making like an American version of Luther once upon a
Yeah,
time, which is like would have been the biggest mistake ever. Like why like what can people not understand Idris Elba?
don't ask me. I don't know. Like, yeah, that sounds about as weird as making the American version of Sherlock.
Oh, they did though.
Did they?
Yeah, Elementary's on
Oh,
CBS.
right, right.
Yeah, I mean it's not an American. It's Johnny Lee
But
Miller.
it's not a
Um,
direct adaptation, though, is what I'm
no,
saying.
it is a different take. For instance, Lucy Liu plays Watson.
Uh,
I saw like the first four episodes. I really liked it. It's a really good take on the characters. It's modern day in the same way Sherlock is too, except it's not an hour and a half mini movie every time you want to watch an
mhm.
episode. It is 22 episodes per season, standard network show, but very good, like fun mysteries. I mean, most people like those shows, even if they're not the serious ones. If it's something like Monk or Murder She Wrote, people love the Who Done It. People like murder mysteries, and that's I've talked about the show earlier when you were talking about calendar dates, and you brought up Kenneth Branagh's Murder on a Train or Murder on
Orient
Orient
Express.
Express. And, yeah, um, I think it's the time. Like we need if this Batman solo film that's coming out eventually, if ever, if it's a mystery, if it's a true detective story, oh man, like people would lose their shit. Me primarily, probably. But if they make DC mean Detective Comics again on the big screen, oh, I'd be so happy.
Well, Ben Affleck is supposed to be at the helm of that, so
I could
could
see it.
yes, I could too.
I could see it.
Absolutely.
Not just branding villains, like actual, mystery stuff going
Yeah,
on.
definitely.
But staying in Britain for a second here, Doctor Who, the streaming video on demand rights, they were just bought up. Before this sale to Amazon Prime, who's got exclusivity, it was at Netflix, it was at Amazon, it was at Hulu, it was basically anywhere on the internet had Doctor Who. But that contract expired on the 1st of February. So now, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you can't watch The Doctor without paying for it. I'm sure this is going to make a lot of people get Prime subscriptions if they don't have them now. This is one of the most beloved geek shows on the internet. And so it's not just the back library, including all of the Doctor's past adventures, but also the new ones, including holiday special, not holiday, but Christmas specials, and anything else they make in the near future. I'm not personally a Whovian, but I'm sure a lot of people, when they heard this news, were probably mad because, most people have Netflix instead.
No, yeah, like I remember it was one of those things that they kept recommending on Netflix for sure for me, but
I don't
man,
think you would like it.
yeah, and everyone's told me that. I don't even know where to start, honestly. And I've been more interested in the parodies of it than in the actual thing, but also I'm just it's so much more difficult for a TV show to draw me in now. Like if it wasn't for us talking about Daredevil, I still got to finish the second season too, and
You won't.
I want to. I
Just
really do.
watch the ninth episode, and then
No, no,
you'll
no.
have to
I can't skip that. I have the eighth episode anyway. That's next.
Yeah,
So
skip that.
no,
Oh no, the last 5 minutes of the eighth are important.
yeah.
Well, the eighth one's actually really really good. The
Okay,
eighth
okay.
one is
So
like
should I skip it? Is it good? Is it?
no,
Come on.
no, no. I had to remember what the eighth one
Okay.
is. The eight and nine are good. The rest of the show kind of sucks. Um, like it has a very bad ending that second season.
Well, thank you for
But
telling me that. No, I mean,
but eight and nine thumbs up.
I will if I find the time. You know, I don't know. Maybe like I get my week-long vacation in June, so maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, you
Binge
can do
on a
that.
couple episodes on the plane.
Last thing on the show, care. I'm sure you care about it because you're obviously the target demographic here. But NFL Films has teamed up with Amazon to debut All or Nothing, a season with the Arizona Cardinals this summer.
Big fan of the Cardinals.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's
St.
basically
Louis.
yeah,
Yeah, love
it's
them.
basically it sounds like a riff on their Hard Knock show that they already have at HBO. It's going to be 8 hour long episodes, and it's going to chronicle lives of players on and off the field. It could be good. I mean, I've seen an episode or two of the Hard Knocks. It definitely has a demographic. I don't know how many people that have Amazon Prime are going to be excited about this. When again, they're trying so many things, like we talked about in the weeks prior. Live like home shopping network stuff, fashion tips, and what not to wear. They are trying lots and lots of things,
Hmm.
and this is a pretty big deal, especially because it could lead to a multi-year contract. Um, I'm not going to be tuning in, and Steve's not either.
No, I probably won't unless like everyone flips for it and it's something that I have to see just out of interest for seeing what people are talking about. But no, no, probably won't.
You see,
Probably won't.
I think Arizona's a bad season. Next season, like if they got the LA Rams, it's like they just moved to LA. They're making themselves at home. We're gonna follow this guy around the field, and then we're gonna show him on Rodeo Drive, and he's gonna bump into this celebrity. Like that would be a good show. That'd be a good watch. When you're out in the desert,
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely. Good luck to St. Louis, Arizona, this season, this next season. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's the show. You listened to the whole thing. You heard our voices for 2 hours. Congratulations. No one's hearing this right now. If you are, you should feel special because we appreciate it.
Maybe if
You
you're listening
go,
to this on VR, we would love it even more. That just staring at, I don't know, some blank screen or maybe some audio waves popping up right in
well,
front of your
I was
face. I
watching
don't
this
know how
thing.
that works.
I was watching this thing yesterday. I can't remember the name of it. I stumbled upon it on YouTube. They were like, "Oh, you like VR shit? Here's some VR
Hmm.
shit." But there's like this app, or it's not an app, but there's this program that it allows you to. You remember the Winamp days when there'd be like an audio visualizer and it was like super trippy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have that in VR. So I'm sure listening to our voices with one of those would actually be kind of cool. Whoa. But yeah, hit us up on Facebook, like our page, follow us on Twitter at Dollar Views on both. The set at the top of the show. Don't know where you listen to this. It could be on
I
YouTube,
swear, if we
archive.org,
break out,
TuneIn, Stitcher.
then Brian's probably gonna do something as crazy as I don't know, shave his head maybe and his
Well, I
face.
mean, shaving my face is only 26 likes away. It's
Really?
not that.
The whole
It's not that
face? The whole
crazy.
face?
Yeah, the whole
What
head.
about your head?
No, that's
That'll
not
never
that's not the
happen.
case.
No.
No, I've shaved my head before.
Would you do it
I was
again?
bored. No, it took a long
No, I've
time.
done that too, but I don't know. Maybe I should do.
No,
No, actually, I shouldn't do that because I'm worried that I'm losing my hair.
it took a
No
long
reason
time.
to speed that up. But anyway,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. This is the part of the show where I always derail you when you're trying to promote us. What? Twitter. I'm at Steve at dollarreviews.net. Twitter's S_MTX. Same thing with Letterboxd. And yeah.
I don't care. I'm hungry. But I'm like not that like I'm hungry, but I'm like starving. But like I could eat, but I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go get a snack too.